Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
TexAgs Live.
I feel like I should be listening to the theme song from the Jeffersons. You know, we're moving on up.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
It's a blessing to be in the position, and we're just thankful to be here. We're thankful to have the opportunity to go out there and play in front of the 12 man.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
It's been special. The 12th man this past week was unbelievable.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies. Buchanan.
Nuño.
Who's got that dog in him in this year?
Scooby. Scooby has a dog in him.
He's got a little dog in him.
Ruh-roh. That's what offenses say when
they see him?
When they see him coming. Ruh-roh.
You kind of remind me of
Shaggy?
Scrappy.
Scrappy?
Yeah.
Scrappy-Doo.
Scrappy-Doo. Now, actually, you are more a Shaggy. Now that you mention it, you're an older Shags.
I'm Shaggy after he became the Geritol age, right?
All right, so who's somebody on offense that's got that dog in him?
Le'Veon Moss.
Yeah, he's got that dog.
Probably Armaj Reed Adams and that whole offensive line.
The whole line.
There's a
Maroon
whole
Goon.
kennel
Yeah.
of dogs. Yeah, I feel comfortable with all those guys.
So today we have a presser.
Marcel's got some greyhound in him.
He does?
Yeah.
He's fast. We've got Coach Elko speaking today at 1 o'clock, followed by Trey Zoon, followed by
the
Marcel
greyhound,
Reed.
Marcel Reed.
Followed by
Scooby.
Wow, that worked out well, didn't it?
Yeah.
That worked out.
It almost sounds like it was planned.
It wasn't. It legit wasn't planned. Yeah, so we'll be talking to them, which means that tomorrow it all gets friggin' started.
It all gets started tomorrow. Yeah, here we go again. And yeah, at least, at least now, like we said yesterday, it's the playoffs of talking season. So at least now everything you discuss and project has a little more weight, or a lot more weight to it.
Okay.
We're finding it, hopefully we'll find out things about the team and, we'll get information that we can, pertinent information that we can share.
Yeah, I think a week from today is where we'll really start getting some good intel. You need a couple practices stringed together, right? Like, you'll see some things, but I think you need a few practices after practice after practice to get you really going.
I just hope they get through this August camp and nobody gets hurt.
Yes. Yeah. Please. How about this?
Get through the whole season. All season.
I mean, maybe you'll have some little
bumps and bruises,
but not like
nicks and knacks, as some coach used to say.
So I'm going to ask you a question. I want the audience to answer this one as well, and you cannot go Captain Obvious. Okay. Who, on both sides of the ball, is the most feared player?
Feared.
Yeah, feared. Like, you got a game plan, and I think it's obvious is Le'Veon, right? Like, if
I would say so.
But let's take him out of the. Okay. Understood.
Okay, then. Well, we haven't seen Casey Concepcion yet.
But I think DCs are already fearing him.
I'm sure I'm sure he's got their attention.
Yeah.
And Craver too.
Yep.
I'd say Marcel.
Marcel, yeah.
How do you not watch that LSU game and go, okay, this guy we have to deal with?
So if you were to do a 1A, 1B, Le'Veon 1A, Marcel 1B?
Yeah, I think so. Because Le'Veon, he's going to run right through his foe's face.
Yeah.
And so I think you get that real physical element that not only do you have to stop, you just got to tackle him. And that's not easy to do because you might get hurt tackling him. Marcel just, has you worried what he's going to, that poor guy from Florida.
Yeah.
And his jockstrap was up around his helmet. He got juked so bad. Now, who's on defense? Who's the most feared on defense?
Most feared on defense. Well, I think Will Lee. You're trying not to throw to his side of the field, right?
Yeah, or Cassius Howell.
Yeah. And I think you could put Torian on there. I think you can make a case for Torian. Maybe not. I think you know where he is.
You respect.
Yeah.
You respect him because he may come in and sack you, which he got. I think he had 3 sacks last year, and he might just drop back and get an interception. He's got a couple of those.
So I'm going to ask the same question, but then I'm going to put like a little spin to it. Okay.
Spin.
Who is most feared one-on-one matchup?
Most feared one-on-one matchup.
It could end up being Terry Bussey.
It could be. It could be Casey Kinsey. It could be Reuben Owens.
It could be Reuben Owens.
And we've seen glimpses of Reuben when he's a freshman. You're like, man, look at that footwork and things like that. But I like the idea that you just mentioned 3 guys. It could be what I just talked about, the one-on-one in the open field and that poor Florida linebacker.
It could be 12. Marcel Reed.
It could be Marcel Reed. And I'm loving that.
Did we say Reuben for this one?
We talked.
Reuben. Yeah,
so. It might be, you know what? It might be Mario Craver.
Mario Craver. There you go.
Any really fast guys.
Well, in the way I think Billy's been speaking about Ashton Bethel-Roman as well, like he's a guy like, don't be surprised.
Yeah, maybe some guys we haven't seen yet or haven't seen a lot of yet. We've seen Reuben. We just haven't seen a lot of Reuben.
What about, this is harder to answer on the defensive side, but you see this guy, you know.
Yeah, we didn't say Le'Veon. Remember that poor guy, the safety at Missouri? It was just him and Le'Veon.
That's right.
75-yard touchdown. Okay.
So on the defensive side, a one-on-one matchup, it's not.
I would think.
Who's got the fundamentals to make that tackle?
Well, I'm thinking the one-on-one matchup. In this case, I'm thinking this right tackle going against Cassius Howe. Mm-hmm. I don't think Cash is going to see a lot of one-on-one matchups.
I don't either. Ryland Kennedy, hopefully you get to be opened up.
Will Lee. I think that goes back to Cassius Howe or Will Lee.
Hopefully Julian Humphreys.
Hopefully
you got both sides
but
or
you're going to have to throw at somebody.
Yep. Okay. Most feared head-to-head collision. I already know Le'Veon's number 1 on my list. But I want a defense and an offense.
Well, yeah. We just, we've been talking about Le'Veon. I mean, how many times did you see Le'Veon get hit and bounce? I think, I wish I had the numbers right now. Le'Veon, it's like 2/3 of his yardage gain last year came after contact. And we all saw it.
I'm going to give another one. Okay. Armage.
Okay.
You don't want any of that chair or him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, or Basantis too.
Or Basantis as well. That line when they're balling out like we've seen them do. Yeah, all of them. Defensively, I don't know enough about the new players yet.
Right.
So I still got to figure that out. But I feel like you don't want to get head-on collision with Albert Regis.
Yeah.
This seems like a work hazard.
Right. Scooby's a big hitter.
You know who else? Bryce Anderson. I think Bryce Anderson's a big hitter for his size.
Okay. Yeah, I'm having more difficulty coming up with this one on defense
because we didn't see enough of it last year.
And defense has more to prove. Torian York, I don't necessarily, and I may be wrong. Nothing really stands out to me as a big walloping hitter.
Yeah.
Just being in the right place, the right time,
right
make
place,
the play.
Right time. Right.
Yeah, Regis. I don't know how often he's has a chance to make that impact because being in the middle of, but he's the way he's built. If he gets a one-on-one shot at a running back, he's going to win.
So this next question, we might say Regis here. I hope there's a lot of people we can say for this one. Who plays with the instincts of someone who has seen it all? Because to me, that means a veteran who, you put him in any situation, you feel comfy. And this team returns a lot of veterans. So who plays with that kind of instinct, that swagger, like, let's just go. This is what I do. I go to work, I put my hat on, and I go.
Yeah, I got a few names come to mind here, and Albert would be one of them. And I'm going back to Will Lee. Think about the interception at Florida that Bryce Anderson returned for a touchdown. It was Will Lee noticing that reading the slant, coming in, getting his hand up and deflecting up. He does things like that. Torian York has really good linebacker instincts.
Yep.
Now, he's got to get better, but I think that's what made him a starter as a freshman. In fact, I think Edgerrin Cooper was probably the best linebacker here since that win.
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong on that, but it sure feels right. And I'm not sure that Torian doesn't have the best linebacker instincts I've seen other than Edgerrin. And that includes Buddy Johnson, who I had a lot of respect for. Buddy learned how to play linebacker. Torian came as a linebacker. And I think, again, it was his instincts that made him a starter immediately.
Who I hope we say this about, Casey Concepcion, because he's got a lot of football experience, right? But again, we haven't seen it in maroon and white.
Right.
So I'd like to say that he will be that guy. I'd like to say that Marcel Reed is that guy. Very limited sample size, I get it.
Okay.
But more than a lot of other quarterbacks in the SEC.
Yeah, I thought we were just on defense. I'm agreeing with you on both of those.
Just on instincts.
In fact, I think Marcel did almost everything last year on instinct.
Yeah.
And this year, he's going to be more on knowledge and experience, seasoning, plus the instinct.
For him to get there, though, we got to be able to test vertically. You got to be able to throw the ball down the field.
Yeah.
And he threw the ball down the field. I'm talking about a consistent throwing the ball down the field. When he was successful down the field, it was a beautiful pass. It was great connection. But I want it to be more than the dinks and dumps that opens it up. I want sometimes, you know what, we're just going.
And who's that guy?
I think Craver could be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think KC is more of a short, but I think he could break it into that. I think Mario Craver for sure, Ashton Bethel-Roman, and I'm hoping Terry Bussey.
Yeah.
I think Billy
Jerome Miles.
Heck yeah.
I think the point is last year, if you had a deep threat, it was Noah Thomas. And Noah could make big plays, and he had that 52-yard catch against LSU, big play. But I don't think you really viewed him as a, quote, deep threat, take the top off the defense kind of guy. I think you have that this year. At least you potentially do.
So this should be concerning for Florida. DJ Lagway seen walking in a boot. Now, a boot could be a week.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen players at A&M with a boot play in the game that week, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But to go along with the noise of not throwing during spring ball, and then he gets to SEC Media Days, I'm throwing, I'm good. And now to be in a boot. I don't even think they've started yet.
No.
Probably
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
When injuries continue to pop up, and look, this guy's very young career, so he's got a long way to go, hopefully. And I hope he's very successful except against Texas A&M. It's got to be concerning, got to be alarming for Florida that your guy, the guy that you're expecting to put the cape on and take you to the next level, is starting camp in a boot.
Yeah. I don't, like you said earlier, we've seen guys be in a boot for a week and come back. So that's not, I wouldn't be worried about that yet if I was a Florida fan.
If it's 10 days into camp?
Then if it starts lingering, then I might, start getting, all right, a little antsy.
Yeah.
But as of today, I'm still expecting DJ Lagway to be under center or in the shotgun or whatever when Florida opens up.
Yeah, I do too. But I
don't think the boot thing, his problem so far has been his shoulder and his hamstring.
Mm-hmm.
And if he, twisted an ankle, we don't know why he's in the boot. But as long as it's not the shoulder or the hamstring right now, if I'm a Florida fan, I'm not too overly concerned.
This is where I would be concerned. Reps are important, man. Mm-hmm. Experience is important. And as good as he is, and he is really that good, you need those reps. So if he misses time this camp, if he misses 10 days, if he misses a week, those are valuable reps.
Yeah, they are. They are. But kind of like Marcel, I think he's so instinctive that, he can get by to a large degree on just, what he's already known. He played half the season last year. Like I said, I'm going to worry about his shoulder. I'm going to worry about his hammy until I have more reason and learn more about why I have the boots on. I'm probably going to be thinking, okay, that's the least of my worries concerning him so far.
This is from the Gainesville Sun. A source confirmed that the 6'3", 241-pound Lagway has been dealing with a lower leg issue and is wearing a walking boot.
Yeah,
that's the extent of it.
But lower leg issue.
Could be a lot of things.
Yeah. Now, if it's a high sprain, those things tend to linger could be a problem. Look, I like the kid. I hope he does well. Like you said, I hope he does especially well when he plays LSU in Texas. I hope he sucks against A&M.
Well.
And seems like a good kid. Will do whatever he has to do. So it'll definitely be something to keep an eye on.
Did you know that this was TexAgs Live?
I did.
We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It's the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations, and currently we're hanging out at the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
It's actually a little bit cooler here right now. Like
yeah,
I feel
it feels good.
It's a little cold.
I was kind of warm this morning.
Well, it's probably you did some great workout.
You know, today I just slept late.
Yeah?
Yeah. Stayed in bed until 6.
I had one of those nights sleeping where I felt like I was awake all night. I know I slept. I know I had some dreams, which was weird that I can remember the dreams. But I felt like I was never fully asleep.
I just, unlike you, whose body shouts, I listen to my body whisper to me. And sometimes it whispers, get up, get your workout in. Usually it does. Today it says, Joe, you need some more rest.
Yeah.
So I stayed in rest.
Rest is important. If you want to be a part of the conversation this morning, you can call us up on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. That number, 979-693-1150. You can text that number as well, 979-693-1150. We go around the room, left to right, behind the glass, through the glasses. Nick Savage. Thank you, Nick, very much. Well, now we go to the... Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Nick.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
Now you can't go to anybody else today, so you have to talk to me. So I'm happy about that. Anyways, moving on. So what do you think?
We give you an awkward pause.
Nick's happy. Happy Nick.
I know how to deal with that, David. People at the social center typically don't, but I'll keep going.
You just run the stop sign.
Yeah, exactly. I want to ask a question, kind of continue y'all's conversation. And like y'all said earlier on, it's about a week into fall camp where you really start to figure things out and learn things. So I'll ask y'all, just what do you think y'all will know or we will know through the first couple fall practices, and what do you want to know?
Okay. I think we're going to know that Casey Concepcion is everything we've been hoping for. I think we're going to know that. We're going to see some early signs like, oh, that's what it looks like. I think we'll see that.
Okay, that'd be great. I want to, first of all, get it absolutely understood and reported that whatever Le'Veon Moss's status is, that he's 100% ready to go. Because we keep hearing, yeah, he's probably going to be ready. Yeah, I want to hear it without a doubt.
Yep.
Excuse me. Everything to me always comes back to pass coverage.
But do you think we'll be able to really learn that in the first week?
I don't think we'll know until we're actually seeing them get somebody else.
Yeah. And look,
maybe we'll get an idea. Probably not, but who'll be back there?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to find out Chappelle's status and have that nailed down.
Yeah, I think we'll learn. I think we'll learn it'll confirm a lot of the things we already know, right? Like, it'll be confirmed of how massive the line looks and the different options that they have at running back. But really, if I'm talking about learning something, it's going to be about new players. Like, I hope Jerome Miles is somebody that I notice right away. Like,
guy.
There's a guy
who was injured last year in high school. Is he ready? Those kind of things. Absolutely.
Marco Jones. Oh, yeah. He looked big in the spring. He looks even bigger now. Who did we have here that I told him, dude, you look like you've gotten big? I forget. Maybe it was Theo. Somebody looked like it was Theo, right, Nick? I feel like it was.
Yeah, it was Theo.
Then I was like, dude, you put on some strength.
And we had Scooby in.
Scooby definitely looked like he had put on some strength, too. So that's one of the things I want to be able to see, okay, I see a little difference in size there.
Yeah, it's still so hard to find out in fall camp. I said it, August camp, because again, we see with our own eyes so little bit, so little, and so fortunately for us, Elko is more forthcoming than most coaches. That doesn't mean he's not going to hide things. All coaches do that, but we're fortunate in that regard. But I think all the things you're talking about. Well, who's another? You mentioned Julian Humphrey. Are we going to find out? Are we going to get a pretty good idea that he's the guy on that opposite corner?
Right.
Or is it Eli
Ricks? Do you want that, or do you want, man, we got a lot of options. Des Ricks took a huge step. Tyreek Chappelle looks really good there. We could put somebody else at the nickel.
I want it all. I want it all. I want. This is the guy, but I want to say, but look at all that. Look at all that. Depth.
Look at Dalton Brooks, right? Like Bryce Anderson. He's back to what we remember him being a couple years ago.
Another guy we got to find out about him health-wise.
Yeah.
He had some issues last year.
All right, let's hit a break. No jokes. Just give them the information, OB. I like barbecue.
I like barbecue. That's no joke. And when I like it the most is at $17.75.
Yeah. Why do you like that the most?
Because it's the best. No joke.
That's a good answer.
Because first of all, it's right here in town, so I don't have to go all over the state to find premium, supreme Texas barbecue. You know, like that succulent brisket and that jalapeno cheese sausage I like so much, and those pork ribs.
Those are great.
Let me tell you, and the turkey, and if you're into pulled pork, they got that too, and of course the queso mac and cheese.
If I said to you,
chef kiss.
No jokes, okay?
None.
Change the word succulent for something else about that brisket.
Spectacular.
Okay, another one.
Tremendous.
Okay, one more.
Gastronomical.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. That's what I needed to hear. It is $17.75. We're going to talk at this level for the rest of the show. They're open Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until they're sold out. $17.75. TXBBQ.com.
It's an Epicurean delight.
Hey everyone, David Nuño and Olin Buchanan and OB. Typically we start off the show in this section and we call it the Holistic Planning Cool
The cool zone. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What do we know about holistic planning?
Well, a lot of cool stuff. For instance, holistic planning can help you with your investments.
I love that.
They can help you with your taxes. So
I don't like paying taxes.
You can get that money from your investments and they keep it. They'll help you keep it away from the government.
Yep.
Not all of it, but more of it. And then they'll even help you with your estate planning. When you're old like me, you got to make sure some of that money you made is there for when you want to retire and just enjoy the rest of your life.
You want your estate to be planned. But they also do something else.
Yeah, well, if you are, like, say, a sports fan, and you've always wanted to...
Everybody watching us, right?
Yeah. And you want to always dream of being an owner, well, in a certain way you can, because they will broker the deal for you to invest in pro sports.
Yeah, what you need to do is check out investinprosports.com. That's where you can get all the information if you want to invest in a team. I don't know what team. He'd probably try to buy the Cowboys. I try to buy a lot of the Houston teams. Whatever it may be, investinprosports.com. It is holistic planning, and we love hanging out at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. All right, we are back on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Roller Insurance Studio. Got a text from a 678 that says, with Lagway, the report is it's his calf, but with the recent increase in Achilles injury and a lot of them coming after during calf issues, that would worry me. That's been a big NBA thing. I'm not going to put that on DJ Lagway until I see a report. But look, concerned, sure. Super concerned. And somebody on the YouTube page put, like, the Florida insiders are saying it's not a big deal.
Well, again, I have to get more information directly from the university because I don't know if you've noticed this. A lot of things you read on
the internet,
if it's not TexAgs, can be unreliable.
Yeah. It's an evolving situation.
Yeah. Next thing you know is if Sly Spread says he's about to have his leg amputated, are you going to believe that?
Probably not. I would like for him to make.
But it's on the internet.
Well, this is true. Nick sends in, I think we're going to have an awesome year. Just need to stay healthy and stay focused. Read both backs, new receivers, D-line. That the backups will have to step up.
Yes, all those things could be true. I try to look at A&M completely objectively. And I see a lot of reasons to expect A&M to have a really good year. My apprehension comes from basically three things. The pass coverage a year ago.
Yep.
The tendency to give up big plays in the running game, and history, the past.
I agree.
And Mike Elko should not be, and his program should not be penalized for the sins of the past.
I agree.
And yet, I'm saying 8-4 until you can prove me that you're not 8-4.
Well, I'm going to try to give you a reason for not 8-4. Okay.
Yeah, I got a lot of them, but I want to hear yours.
Well, this is a spot more than anything. 25-25, presented by La Casa Tequila. I should just say that like you. La Casa Tequila, raised in Aggieland and rooted in the SEC.
La Casa Tequila.
There you go. You say it with a smile.
Well, why wouldn't I? It's La Casa Tequila.
Tequila.
Tequila. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
You're a big Pee Wee Herman fan?
I thought that one movie was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Where he danced to that song, Tequila. And he said he couldn't remember anything. They said, what do you remember? He said, I remember the Alamo and everybody threw up their hats. Well,
I think he's a polarizing figure, if you will.
Well, he was.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers. All right, number 19 on the list.
All right. This guy's not a Pee-wee.
No. He's what I say is tall and big.
He's huge.
6'7", 330, Demetrius Crownover.
He's as big as that name. Demetrius Crownover.
I'm going to give you a reason that I don't know if you know this, okay?
No, I probably don't.
So, yesterday we talked about Pro Football Focus, and there's some things I like about it. Billy mentioned some things I like, whatever, right? But here's something that they're saying, which I've only seen them report this. I don't know. I think it's accurate, but again, I don't know. I'm just going to read it. He allowed 0 sacks on 345 pass blocks in 2024. I did not know that. I wasn't familiar with your game. But PFF has that as a stat.
That's interesting. I hope it's accurate. Now, sometimes you don't know what the blocking scheme might have been, but okay.
But I'd rather that than the opposite.
A&M allowed the 4th least sacks in the SEC last year, so they weren't giving up a whole bunch. Great, Demetrius.
He also was named to their 2025 All-SEC team as the only one of 3 Aggies selected, finishing in the league's 4th best overall tackle, ranking 113th in pass protection.
All right. Well, because I think there's this. Did
I say 113th? 13th in pass protection.
I think there's this thought. There's this narrative. Well, maybe not even a narrative, just a school of thought that Demetrius might be, how do I put this in the exact terminology? I don't want to say weakest, might be the least proven guy on the offensive line.
If that's your least proven?
That's why you have one of the best offensive. Now you could say Naboo because he was hurt last year, but he did start all those games the year before. And then, of course, they have 3 guys that are all conference, preseason all conference. So, but back to the point, if that's your least proven guy, then you've already proven how good your offensive line is.
He helped A&M rush for 300 plus yards in consecutive games for the first time since 2012.
What were those games, you know?
LSU and Missouri.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
And this guy, we were kind of going through it, might be an NFL guy here in a year.
He definitely has NFL size. You know what? His character is as good as his stature or as big. You know, those Crown Over boys were raised really well, young men, whatever. I remember the previous coach here was always saying that Crown Over was going to be an NFL player.
And let's not forget, he was recruited as a tight end, defensive end.
See, that's another thing right there that tells you about Demetrius. Some guys, when your coaches want you to change positions, you know, they're hesitant. Some are defiant. But Demetrius obviously embraced it. You know, it's more fun to play football when you get the ball and you get to catch it and run with it, right?
Yep.
But he embraced it and obviously embraced what it took to play that, which means he put on a lot of muscle and a lot of weight. I don't know what he was in high school, but you say he's 340 now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he wasn't 300 in high school. He's probably put on 70 pounds.
Started right tackle.
So have I, by the way.
You're a lean 191, buddy.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
Started at right tackle every game in 2024.
For one of the better offensive lines in the SEC.
I think he's one of the guys I don't want to say forget about, underappreciated maybe.
Well, again, and I don't think it's because of him. I think it's because of the other guys on the offensive line. They think of a really good movie, right?
Yeah.
And there's an all-star cast. And, you know, you're going to think of these three people. You feel, oh, yeah, that guy's in it too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, we look at
Varsity Blues. You got that Vanderbeek guy.
James Vanderbeek, right?
And then John Voight. And then what's that? Allie Larder. And they go, oh, that Buchanan guy's in it too.
You're a big Allie Larder fan?
I like her better in Man.
I was going to say, I've heard you say that before. I'm just confirming those numbers are correct because I'm looking at this. It looks like A&M had 242 yards rushing against LSU. So I don't know how correct that stat was, but the point is Amari had 91 in that game. Le'Veon had 83 in that game. Marcel had 62 in that game.
Yeah, they ran the ball. Maybe they just said, hey, let's take what they did in the first half and double it the second half and double it because that's what it would have been.
That's what it would have been. So there you go. So just, again, is he the first offensive lineman we've done? He is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's that line. Pretty good.
Maybe more to come.
Let's hope.
I guarantee it.
You think they're going to be, but you don't know where people finish, right?
I don't even, I know where I put them, but you know, that doesn't mean that I'm right.
You're probably right. You're probably wrong. I'm just kidding.
Probably.
But I say it to you like you were a kid. I'm just kidding. Hey, OB, you're so great.
Hey, it's all right.
All right. Let's do this. Somebody who's rarely wrong. Actually, never wrong. Charean Williams next on TexAgs Live.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
All right, let's talk about heritage films. They preserve more than memories. They transfer values across generations. They capture the unique mindset of agricultural families who think in decades and centuries. Cinematic quality documentaries that honor agricultural legacies. That's what Heritage Films does. They tell the family story. They tell the family ranch story. They tell the family business story. They understand the agricultural operations and time frames, and they capture those so the next generation can understand what that land is all about and keep those values forever, because that's what Chance and his team want to do. They want to tell that story and have you locked in for the next generation and the generation after that. It is an easy website to remember, yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. Of course, we're on with Charean Williams. A little later than usual. It's TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buffy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That's where we find Charean the Dream here on the program. Aggie Hall of Famer, Aggie Great, and our good friend from
World Traveler.
This is true.
Iceland.
Yeah. Last week she recommended we should go. I'm like, I don't know. What do you do in Iceland, Charean? I'm sorry that I'm not smart. What do you do there?
Well, saw an active volcano for starters. How often do you get to see an active volcano? It had gone off 2 days before we got to see it. So 12th time they've had the volcano go off since, 2020, something like that. So it's been recent that they've had this volcanic activity. So you see that, and it's just beautiful with the waterfalls, and they have their own version of Niagara Falls, and whales and dolphins and puffins, and it's just wonderful. I mean, just stuff that you don't see every day. I guess that's what makes it special, because we don't see all that every day. The whales, we saw so many whales, and it just never got old, because it's just something that we don't see here. So I think that just the fact that you see stuff that you don't see every day is what's so cool. It's just a beautiful country, lots of countryside, very green. It's not cold, or it wasn't cold this time of year, obviously. So just really enjoyed it. And, yes, put it on your bucket list if it's not already there.
Charean, today we have the opening press conference for fall camp. Tomorrow the camp begins. So I'm going to ask you, the camp begins. I'll ask you this question. What does A&M have to do? So for them to win 9+ games, what has to happen this year?
Well, I think we talked about this a lot. I think it starts with the offensive line. I think the defense is going to be fine. I think it's going to be the offense and how effective they can be. Can they be consistent? Can they just move the ball and score consistently? And it's going to come down to how the offensive line protects for the run game and how they protect for Reed. And then, secondly, how Reed plays. Is he going to take that next step? If he takes that next step and he has time, then I think this is going to be a really good football team, and I think it's going to be a fun team to watch. They're going to be in every game. I'm not going to say they're going to win the national championship. But, Elko talked about this. When you have 3 players drafted, that's what we had this past year, I think, you didn't have a whole lot of talent, of NFL-level talent. Now, some of those players came back. I get that. I understand that. Some of those players that you had transferred, like a Walter Nolan, who was a first-round draft pick, I get that. But the difference this year is going to be, as he talked about, they're going to have double-digit players go into the NFL. That makes a huge difference. Just the talent level is better. So I expect the talent level to be significantly better this season, to the play to be significantly better this season, particularly on offense. I mean, the defense didn't play like we expected last season, so I do think they're going to be better as well. But I'm not worried about the defense. I think they're going to be fine. It's just how effective is that offense going to be? Are they going to be able to move the ball consistently and score consistently?
See, and I've always kind of thought the opposite, Charean. So tell me, what is it that makes you so confident about the defense?
Well, I just think with Elko's leadership, and I think with the players they have coming back, the leadership that they have, and the defensive linemen have never been a problem at A&M. Just in the history of A&M, in the recent history of A&M, and the players they had drafted this past season, getting to the quarterback, I'm never concerned when they lose pass rushers, because they bring in more pass rushers. That just hasn't been a problem. And Elko knows how to recruit pass rushers. They're going to be good. Hal's going to be good. They're going to be good at getting to the quarterback, putting pressure on the quarterback. But, I think with his leadership and his play calling, to me, that was the biggest problem last season, was just some of the things they decided to do. They didn't make sense. And, he probably should have had a hand more in the defense earlier than what he did. But I just think they're going to be better with him having more of a say in the defense and the people they brought in, the leadership they have coming back, the Will Lees and Bryce Andersons and those guys with that leadership at the second level. I just think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be much, much better than what they were last season.
Talking to Charean Williams here on TexAgs Live. Charean, I got an alert last night when the news around the NFL headquarters happened with the shooting situation. I know that several, I guess they were targeting NFL employees. What kind of information can you shed on that?
Yeah, well, he intended to go up to the NFL offices, and I've been to those NFL offices in New York, and there's different levels of, the building's so big, there's different levels of elevators that go to different floors. So he went to the wrong elevator after he killed the security guard, the New York police officer. He went to the wrong bank of elevators, and the one he went to the 33rd floor and higher. And the bank that he needed to get on if he was going to the NFL offices was lower bank. They're on 5, 6, 7, I think, are their 3 levels that the NFL officers are at. So he just went to the wrong bank. He did get, and I don't know the full details, but there's one NFL employee who is injured in the hospital. And I'm not sure where he was that he got hit, but he did get hit with a bullet and is in the hospital. So, yeah, I reached out to, obviously the communication people who I've worked closely with in my career, especially as president of Pro Football Writers of America, and just said, hey, it was probably a tough day today and, thinking about you guys. So, yeah, I'm sure it was traumatic. And if you've seen some of the pictures and videos that the Blackstone people had put to barricade themselves in, and I'm sure they did that in the NFL offices as well. So, yeah, that's where he intended to go. He wants his brain tested for CTE. Supposedly, he left in a note, the shooter did, former high school football player, and thinks that that's what caused his mental illness, apparently, was the CTE. So, yeah, unfortunate, sad, tragic, and yet another mass shooting in the U.S. So, yeah, the NFL offices were targeted in this violence.
I haven't heard. Did this guy actually play in the NFL?
I don't believe so. Charean, do you know?
No.
He did not.
No, he definitely played high school football. And I've seen videos of him as a high school player. I don't even think he played in college, but he played in high school football. So don't understand, maybe we'll find out more about why the NFL offices were targeted. I assume he just blames the NFL for head injuries and CTE and that sort of thing. But obviously he was messed up some way mentally to go in and do this.
Well, I'm hesitant to change the subject after something so important, but Tyler Guyton injured. They've lost a guard to injury. So the Cowboys, any chance that they're going to try a Tony Liscio move? Only Charean and a few old people would understand that reference, and try to lure Zach Martin back in?
No, I don't think so. I think, Tyler Smith may move over to left tackle for a game or two. It does not look like Tyler Guyton will be out long. Originally, it was reported that the Cowboys feared that he had a torn ACL. They were fortunate it did not turn out to be that. The MRI showed a fracture in a bone and then a knee sprain. So he could miss a game or two into the regular season. I suspect he'll be back week 2 because the Cowboys obviously open early on September 4th. That's a Thursday, and then they'll have 10 days after the first game to get ready for the home opener in week 2. So it makes sense that they would hold him out that game, have an additional 10 days to get him ready, bring him back in week 2. So I expect him to miss one game. Maybe you move Tyler Smith over there, and maybe you go with Asim Richards and take your chances there. I don't like that against the Eagles' pass rush. I don't know that Richards is going to hold up to that, but you can obviously give him a lot of help over there. But, yeah, they have a decision to make going forward about who the backup left tackle is because it's going to be an important position for that, at least for that first game, more than likely. But they did avoid, a worse situation where Guyton could have been out for the year. But he will be back. We'll be back early in the season, and so that's gonna help him. So you don't want to move Tyler Smith, but he's probably your best option there at left tackle.
Charean, we're out of time, but I do want to ask you one question if we can do it quickly. It's actually a 2-part question, so it's not fair. Shamar Stewart signed. Shamar Turner's hurt. Just give us the latest. And I think Shamar yesterday had a really good. Stewart had a really good practice.
Yeah, Shamar Turner is out at least a month, probably into the regular season. Unfortunate for him. We talked about the ankle injury last week. It sounds like it's a high ankle sprain. So out a while for Shamar Turner. It's setback. Shamar Stewart did sign his deal. They came to an agreement, and they both gave in on different things. He got more money up front, signing bonus, so good for him. Glad he's in camp. He's looked really good over the course of his first few practices, and expect big things from Shamar Stewart. It was time for him to get in. He got in. Now he has a chance to win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Charean Williams, the great. Thanks so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
See ya. There's Charean on the Puppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break, come back with a short final segment of the Go Hour presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. It's TexAgs Live. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the Performance Polo, the Texas Maroon and Gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, Dad, you look pretty good today. From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out Burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family. As a reminder, the final segment of the program brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150, will hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. TexAgs Live. OB, the Dion news yesterday kind of went the way I thought it would. Scary, extremely scary. Happy to see he's still going to be coaching. I think in sports you can have you can have multiple feelings about somebody. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I don't want anybody her ill, right? There's times that Dion the coach I don't like, and there are times Dion the coach I'm really intrigued by. I've seen some clips, the way he handles his team that I really like. I've heard some other things that I don't like, but I think he is great for college football.
Yeah, all those things are true. Listen, to me though, it's this is much bigger than college football.
Yeah.
If you have any humanity at all, any win over cancer, no matter how you get it, is to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And thank God that in this case, it's another case in which someone who is inflicted with that horrible disease is going to win.
Yeah, I agree. Obi, thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate you. When we come back on TexAgs Live, a couple things going to happen in the 9 o'clock hour. Josh Pate's going to join us, okay? We're chit-chat with Josh. He was at Big Ten Media Days. We'll talk to Mitch, Vanya, and Jordan Green. Mitch used to coach at A&M, coached with the Rockets, coached the Texas Tech women's team. We'll talk to him. Jordan Green played at A&M. That and more. It is TexAgs Live. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for our weekly conversation with Josh Pate, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Undefeatable back-to-school prices are waiting for you at Academy Sports and Outdoors this year. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That's where we find Josh Pate. Undefeatable. I don't think I've ever used that word before.
I don't think we're going to be using it in the SEC this year either. You want to talk about competitive balance, my friend. I don't think that's that's not in the notes. That's not in the script they gave me for this year, as far as I can tell.
I'm glad you said that. I probably already told you this. I said it a lot during SEC Media Days. I believe you're going to have a 9-3 team in the SEC championship game. Almost had it last year. I think you're going to get it this year.
And you're not going as far as to specify whether all 3 losses are conference losses, right? You're just saying a 9-3 team.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
correct.
So A&M could theoretically lose in South Bend, drop a couple of conference games, tied. They got the head-to-head over the team they're tied with in conference play. They go to Atlanta. I can see that. I thought you were going to go with, I think there are going to be 3 lost teams in the playoff. Notice I said plural, lost teams in the playoff.
Right.
Because that's where I am. I put the over-under at 1.5, 3 lost teams in the playoff, and promptly took the over. So I think it's going to be that kind of year.
I do too. By the way, last week, like when I go to Houston, I sometimes go to certain hard neighborhoods, right? The Fifth Ward. If you go to LA, you go to Compton. You went to the Big Ten Media Days, where apparently there's a rivalry brewing with the way they look at the SEC. And how was that whole, like, I knew that would be a storyline. I didn't think it would be so, like, all the coaches would kind of just weigh in on it.
I didn't either. It didn't surprise me. It was one of those, as I was listening, me telling myself, oh, now that I think about it, this makes sense. I don't know if you ever, like, we used to do max day, for example, in weight training, and everyone would look forward to it. When you're in high school, you're still developing too. So, you go from being able to bench 135 to 205 to, man, can I get 3 plates one day? Well, anyway, you're competing against each other. And I remember very vividly, we had a kid, I will not mention his name, even though there's zero chance he's watching. He was someone who had never touched weights before. And so he got in a structured weight training program. His max started to go up pretty quick. That's what happens to a normal adult male who touches weights for the first time in high school.
Newbie games.
Yeah, he was competing. Let's say we got Jeff and Andy here, and Jeff is weaker than Andy, but Andy's been working out for a little while. And so then max day, Jeff passes Andy, but still is so insecure and has this inferiority complex towards Andy and keeps mentioning him every other sentence. And you're like, Jeff, are you looking at the grease board? Like, you've outmaxed him 2 max days in a row. What are you doing? And what you come to find out, David, is results really cannot cure an inferiority complex. Only you can cure an inferiority complex. It was so stupid. It wasn't just the Big Ten. I love Rhett Lashley. He made a ridiculously unfounded in logic type of point the other day at their media days. Signetti, their schedule's terrible. Everybody knows their schedule's soft. Everybody knows a quarter of the country would have stood a reasonable chance of navigating their schedule and flirting with a playoff spot last year. You don't have to apologize for it. In fact, I don't even think anyone's asking anyone to apologize for that. But it's this bad faith, like misdirection, that it boggled my mind. The SEC was guilty of it too. I heard some terrible arguments from the SEC side of things when we were down there in Atlanta. And so it reeks of someone who thinks their entire audience is 5-year-olds. And you can say whatever you want to them and, oh, they'll believe it. They're just 5. They won't learn the truth for several years now. But we're allegedly adults. So I just wish someone would shoot straight. The one I appreciated the most was Eli Drinkwitz, because Eli Drinkwitz really didn't care. He didn't look for sign-off from the league office. He didn't run his statements through Birmingham before he just spoke his mind. At that point, David, I don't care if I agree with you or not. I happen to agree with some of Drink. I disagree with some of him, but at least it wasn't filtered. At least he got up there, and I think the exact words came out of his mouth this may make our league unhappy, but it's just the way I feel. Well, good. And you know what? No one died. No one got arrested. And everyone just went home and went to bed, woke up the next day. That is okay. It is still okay to live in that world.
Josh, I want to get into some actual football things because we start practice here at A&M tomorrow. Fall camp starts tomorrow. But before that, what did you think of the North Carolina story that was floated out there and now? Or it's kind of later in the summer of when we hear about this potential, movement from programs. Do you think that is a real thing, and do you see the SEC expanding here in the next year or two?
I think they're both going to expand. I say expand. I think expansion is a safe word for it. Everybody should be focused. Well, excuse me. Everyone should be focused on the football season. That's my advice. But if you're sadistic enough to be interested in expansion and realignment over the sport itself or the game itself, 2030 is really where you want to focus your attention. That's when all the media rights deals are up. It's like 30/31. So that's in the plate tectonics theory of college athletics, so to speak, that's the edge of the cliff. That's the one where if sizable change is going to happen, it's going to happen then. But the important thing to note is that's when the contracts are up. But I think the moves will happen or will be announced well before them. Think OU Texas. They didn't announce they were coming to the SEC and then they showed up the next day. It was announced, I think, like 2 years ahead of time. So I would think, David, we're going to see a lot of movement. I would think the ACC is very much on borrowed time, and whether it's a Clemson and Florida State, whether it's Miami or North Carolina, Virginia Tech, whoever it may be, if they're going, I think they're going by that 2030 window. And then, look, your guess is as good as my guess is as good as a university president or conference commissioner's guess as to what that structure would look like. I don't think there's any skill in knowing it. I don't think anything's been more than sketched out on the back of a pizza box at this point. There's no skill in predicting that. There is sort of guided knowledge in predicting that, yeah, something's coming. Like that smoke doesn't continue to billow from nothing.
Talking to Josh Pate here on TexAgs Live. Josh, the DJ Lagway situation, I don't know if concerning is the right word. Yeah, it is concerning. I don't think it's going to be something that potentially plagues him. But if I'm taking a 30,000-foot view, I'm like, didn't play during spring, didn't throw. Now this is up. He could be at practice tomorrow. Who knows, right? But it does at least make me pause for a moment. What's your take on it?
Completely valid to be concerned. Not in the sense of this injury is going to derail his season. The concept of being injury prone, just as a concept, we've seen that with 1 million players before. He would just be 1,000,001. And if that's, if that's a tag that stays with him, especially given the style that he plays with, then it's going to be a problem. It's not anything he can avoid per se. Like, I don't doubt he's working hard. I don't doubt, in fact, I know for a fact they got about the best people from a medical and nutrition standpoint in the world at the University of Florida. They've done a great deal in investing in that infrastructure. But if you end up being an injury-prone guy, you're an injury-prone guy. I hope that that's unfounded, and I hope that these have been just two random things that happen to coincide in their timing, and it's much ado about nothing. I hope that's the case because I really think they can do some special things this year. But to anyone who says, I'm not worried, it's a defense mechanism. Like any Florida fan who says, oh, I'm not worried at all about it. Really? You're not worried at all that your quarterback missed spring and now coming into fall camp, there is a separate issue that's popped up. I don't care if he misses 48 hours because of it. When you tell me, oh, I'm not worried, that won't impact him, you're telling me you don't think he'll have any health issues the rest of the year. And if you're right, wonderful. And I'll be happy to revisit this. But yeah, I'm worried a little bit about it.
I don't know enough about the phase-on situation with South Carolina other than his eligibility. And have we, A, I don't know how much you know about it, and B, why does it take so long for certain athletes to get eligibility? I know Shane Beamer was, upset about it this week, as he should be. Look, I don't want for South Carolina to be stronger after what happened last year, but I also think it's a little weird that we're starting camp and he still doesn't know his fate.
I put something out about this about 3 weeks ago, and not a single person in the Carolina media market asked me about it. You're the only one who's asked me about it. So yeah, I know a lot about it, actually. And I think sometimes there is a misconception that when a kid is left twisting in the wind, the NCAA is just sitting at headquarters with the paperwork on the desk and we'll get to it when we get to it. I am not here to absolve the NCAA. You and I have gone around the merry-go-round several times when it comes to the ineffectiveness and inadequacy of that organization. This is not all on them. I'm just telling you as much as I can tell you. There were a lot of people that didn't do the player any favors here, and I'm not talking about folks in Indianapolis, and I'm not really even necessarily talking about folks at South Carolina. I'm just telling you, folks, and you got to be careful when you put your circle together, and when you decide who's going to represent you. You got to be really careful about that. So I am not shocked that this has taken as long as it's taken, because I really think that when the truth comes out, if it does, it's not really my truth to tell, but if that story comes out, I think you'll find that it wasn't a situation where something was filed and then 6 months went by. It may be more a situation of something was filed and then we found out, oh, never mind, we got to file it a different way. We didn't do it that way either. Oh, we got to file it a different way. And so it may be that the proper filings have only been on the NCAA's desk for a few weeks. That just theoretically could be the case there. Now, I hope he gets cleared, but it hasn't been a situation, I'm just telling you because I know, where he's twisting in the wind and the NCAA's taking their sweet time with their feet kicked up on a beach somewhere. That hasn't been the case here.
So it sounds like once they review it, he'll be able to play. He'll just miss some time at camp.
That I don't know.
Okay.
That the validity of the appeal, the likelihood that it gets approved, I don't know anything about that. What I do know is the application being done properly. The stopwatch has started on that much more recent than the public has been led to believe. The public's been led to believe the clock's been running 6 months. And as I understand it, the way it needed to even be applied for wasn't done until fairly recently.
Talking to Josh Pate here. Hey, Josh, I'm going to throw you 5 teams that are perceived to be really good this year. I just want you to throw me a concern, okay? Because every team's got concerns, all of them. Georgia's got concerns, everybody. So the first one I'm going to throw you is Ohio State.
From an intangible standpoint, leadership. From a tangible standpoint, I would worry about their effectiveness on third down, both sides. I would just, in a general sense, worry about the line of scrimmage being a strength for them, because even offensive line ended up being a strength for them last year, but especially defensive line ended up being a strength. And I think just in the kind of games they're going to play, I mean, their third down effectiveness, both sides of the ball, I think if they get bit, is something that could bite them.
Okay. Penn State.
How dynamic are they at receiver? They made the moves in the portal to try and upgrade themselves. I talked to a couple of them last week. They firmly believe that they have difference makers in that room now, and they have not had that in quite a while. If they have that, they could win the national title. They could be that good because they've already been close. You're not looking for overhauls here and there and everywhere up there. If they are more dynamic to where you have to respect their ability to beat you throwing the ball, then that's a great thing. Because we haven't seen it, I think it's fair for me to still label that a question.
LSU.
Cohesion early, and then also commitment to running the ball and effectiveness running the ball. And those are, I mentioned them separately. They do kind of go hand in hand. I mentioned them separately because you can have all the ability in the world. If you don't commit to running it, it doesn't really matter. And if you mention Alabama, I'll say something else. But I would say that about Bama, too. They didn't commit to it last year, so you never really know. Them and LSU both, I thought, fell well short of expectation and standard running the ball. So I'd say running game for them.
Texas.
I am a believer that they have the personnel in the interior of the defensive line, but when you backfill at the same spots 2 consecutive years, I always label that a question. So run stopping ability for Texas, I would, if I've got to label a question, I would label that as a question. Notice, by the way, I haven't named a single quarterback yet.
Yep.
I think this is healthy, so I think we've gotten past the cover of the preview magazines.
I like it. I'm going to give you another one. I don't think you'll say quarterback for this one either. Clemson.
I think I would say the same thing, kind of the same thing I said about Ohio State, but it's not because they're replacing a bunch of guys. Do you remember the Louisville game when they played last year? Louisville goes into Clemson and just, smokes them, really. Yeah. The final score was somewhere remotely close, but it wasn't as close as the final score indicated. And Louisville just kind of had their way with them on the ground. And a lot of those same players are being counted on to be part of a pretty ferocious defense this year. And I think a lot of people look at that Tiger Paw, they still remember 10 years ago, and they get amnesia from the more recent history. So they forget what last year showed them, and they just assume, oh, we got Tom Allen, so we'll be fine. We got some NFL caliber guys. Do you play that way? Yeah, is Clemson in a situation where they need 17 to win or 37 to win? Now, they could probably do either. One of them's much more difficult than the other. I just think about the overall caliber of defense they're going to play. I'm not even, I guess I would go front, but I look at pass defense every bit as much as I look at that. I wonder if they play up to standard, or if it's a more, if it's a more situational, opportunistic type defense, but where they occasionally go into a game knowing we're going to need 35, we're going to need 38. That's just the kind of game it's going to be today.
Now the real question, Texas A&M, what's your real concern for them?
The concern is, I was actually watching a lot of Marcel this morning. The stuff that he did in the LSU game, the flashes he showed in the LSU game, can he string together more consistent periods of play like that? If he doesn't, they can still win. But if he doesn't, their margin for error is so razor thin. Whereas if the dynamics that he can have as a passer come a little bit further, then you give yourself more wiggle room. You give yourself a little more rope, more ability to screw up and make up for it. So I guess we could call that a concern. We could call that a question, whatever. And then the other one obviously would be, you're going to make the quantum leap defensively, like I think you're going to make with Mike Elko with all three hands on the wheel, basically. That would be sort of a 1A, 1B for me with A&M.
Here's another SEC question for you. And it's more a statement. I'm actually surprised that Pribula is not for sure the starting quarterback at Missouri after an offseason where all the things I read was, he's ready. And I guess what Drink said recently was like he and Sam Horn are going to split it in the beginning, which I guess I was a little surprised by that.
I still would be surprised by it. I don't really care what they say. He knows his team infinitely better than I do, but I'd still be surprised by it. I just... Short of that kid completely mailing in his summer program or being injured and we don't know about it, something like that. Short of that happening, I'd be extremely surprised if past the first game of the season, he's not the full-time starter.
Okay, I'm going to close out with this. I want one SEC coach and maybe one college football coach in general that we're going to have a different opinion of, a higher opinion of at the end of the year. So Ryan Day, at one point, people were ready to fire him. And then obviously he wins the national championship. It doesn't have to be that dramatic, but maybe somebody in the SEC at the end of the year, you're like, this guy rose a lot of spots in the eyes of many, and then just college football in general.
I think DeBoer at Alabama, there's still people who doubt him, so I think highly of them this year. So he'd be my SEC guy. I'm trying to, you know what? Mike Elko's the answer. Never mind. Mike Elko's the answer. I don't just say that because I'm on with you. I was thinking about the map of the SEC because DeBoer played in the national title game 24 months ago. People don't think as highly of Mike Elko. They will by the end of the year. I think they'll challenge for a playoff spot. So I'd stay in the state of Texas for my national guy. Dave Aranda, I think, is going to have a massive bounce back perception year for Baylor. He gets a chance to do it early because they get that standalone Friday night spot against an SEC team in Auburn. So, David, I think they could actually be in the Big 12 title game the closer I look at him. So give me Elko, give me Aranda. I never even had to leave the state.
The Aranda one is interesting. I like him a lot. I didn't see the full. Okay, I saw the quote. What was the? Maybe we shouldn't get into the specifics of it, but did anybody ever follow up when he was talking? What was it? Something about little people? I don't know. Did anybody follow up with what he was trying to say?
Let me answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Is it even possible to follow up?
I don't think it is.
He went a lot of different directions in that one answer. And if you only had an opportunity for one follow-up, all the journalism school in the world at your back, I don't know what you follow up with other than, are you okay? That's probably my follow-up. Do you need help? But no, I love him. Here's a true story. I don't ever ask for when we do the speaker series in the spring.
Yeah.
I rarely ask to go talk to a coach. Most of it is I announce we're going to do it, and the SIDs will reach out, and we know most of them. We'll be lining up a time. Blah blah blah. The only one I reached out to was Baylor and Dave Aranda. Only one to turn us down. Dave Aranda and Baylor. And it was the sweetest, most respectful, humble decline ever. It was, I have to be so focused this time of year. I have to do this. I have to do that. I'm so sorry. He's like profusely apologetic to the point where I almost said, it's okay. We didn't want to come anyway. It's okay. It's all right. But they did hit us up later and say, can you come now? But it was already too late. But yeah, Dave Aranda, now people see why I was so intent on getting to Waco to have him on the show, because that would have been,
what a
I don't think I would have talked. I would have just said, here's the mic. It's on. What's on your mind? And we've got an hour.
Hey, by the way, you mentioned Alabama earlier. I have them winning the SEC. Am I crazy for thinking that?
Are you crazy for thinking any of the top half dozen teams?
Yeah.
I've answered you with a lot of questions today. It's very unprofessional. No, you're not crazy. They may be my pick. I'm still circling right now. I haven't named one yet, but they may be my pick too. So maybe you and I'll go down together.
All right, brother. Appreciate your time, man. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, David.
Later, man. Josh Pate on the Bumpy's Catering Hotline. We'll hit a break. Open segment. Then we're going to talk some hoops. We got a little bit of that, and then 10 o'clock hour football, and football. All right, right now, we're going to get a UTSA preview. So I'm looking forward to that because that's the first game. We're 31 days away. All right, let's talk about the Association of Former Students. If you're looking for a reason to come back to Aggieland, or you are already in Aggieland and looking for a great opportunity, the Association of Former Students might have that job for you. They have openings from time to time. Great place to work. The whole crew there. Randy's fantastic. Everybody. Scott, you name it. Porter, obviously, that's my guy. But they have a lot of different openings and maybe fundraising, potentially in marketing, sales, communications, you name it. They're the premier alumni association, the oldest organization supporting Texas A&M in part of that Aggie history, right, in that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to Here. Don't miss an opportunity to help out with Howdy socials, Aggie Reading Day, class reunions, Aggie muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. So if you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. Nick, have you been paying attention to the YouTube chat?
I have not. No, I'm doing other things. But what's up?
Sorry to bother you. Sorry to even bring it to your attention.
What's up?
Well, apparently our next guest has fanboys, or ladies. Mitch Vanya, who used to coach at A&M, and he's coached at several other places. He's got a bunch of cool things happening here in town. He'll be in studio for a little bit with Jordan Green, who played at A&M. And there's a lot of folks and even UT fans, Texas fans, SIP fans, that are friends with Mitch, I guess, that are watching the show. So I want to welcome them to what a real sports talk show looks like and sounds like. So welcome to real production value, and just we don't ask these polarizing questions just to get clicks. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, glad they're sticking around. Hopefully they subscribe,
comment,
subscribe to TexAgs.com. Get a lot of good content.
Yeah,
there as well.
I mean, it's not that expensive. You get to talk to us, and you get to see what a real show looks like.
They get your personal number. They get to talk to you.
Yeah, we'll give them your number, Nick. I don't have a problem doing that.
Sure, I just block them.
You would block?
Yes.
I am friends with our subscribers. In fact, I text some of them, unlike you apparently.
I have some subscriber numbers as well, like my dad.
Like your dad. All right, what was your big takeaway from, if you weren't too busy, counting whatever, chickens, from the Josh Pate conversation?
The last question you asked him about how he expects Mike Elko's, I guess, perception nationally is kind of how he framed it, or you framed it, how he expects, the defense to take a big leap, and the perception of Elko and, in turn, the A&M program after this year, if they perform how Josh Pate expects, maybe a preseason highly ranked team come 2026. I know we're talking about 2026 now, but still, that kind of caught my attention because I expected him to go a different direction.
Yeah. And then I like that he clarified. Who was the first coach he said before? He said somebody before. Oh, it was Kalen DeBoer. And then he said Mike, and then he said, not because I'm on with you, but because I think they're going to compete for a playoff spot this year. And I want to kind of revisit that for a moment, because that could have been the conversation piece about Mike this offseason, right? Because they did compete for a playoff spot. They did compete for a spot in the SEC championship game, but November happened. And as OB says, no in November, right? So it could have happened. It didn't happen. So the only way that becomes I think the only way that becomes a piece of conversation is if A&M, they got to go at least 9-3, and they got to have a chance again, the last game of the season, to go to the SEC championship game against Texas, right? That's what it's going to come down to. And also, I think another thing, maybe a lot of hand movement going on now. Maybe the conference is such a back and forth, parity that we look at it differently. That 9-3 and 8-4 is actually not what 9-3 and 8-4 used to look like. It's actually the higher brand. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that's something to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the leagues, both the Big Ten and more so the SEC, because there's more competitive teams, I think, at least for conference championship. I think that's just going to become the norm as we keep expanding conferences, getting bigger. It's going to be more rare to see 12-0, 11-1 teams. Like you're saying, the 9-3 teams are going to be the top tier and the teams making the playoffs.
Waffle House says, Bama going to lose 2 to 3 games in the regular season. No way they win in Georgia. Georgia won't lose in the regular season. Mark it down. Waffle House? Maybe. None of us know anything. None of us. Not one person. But if you're right, go to Vegas. I don't do Vegas. It's not my thing. We'll hit a break. We'll do a little basketball on the other side. Ground shuttle, they offer frequent and reliable shuttles from the BCS to George Bush Intercontinental Airport when you need to get out of town. A lot of you do it for business. A lot of you do it for fun, whatever it may be. Don't worry about driving to Bush. That hour and 27-minute drive sucks, right? And then parking, and then you get to your gate late, and then it's like a long line, and you're like the whole, I know Billy likes to show up 12 minutes before his flight. Most of us like to get there an hour and a half before, and Ground Shuttle will get you there. They got 9 shuttle times on the weekdays, every hour and a half, and 5 shuttle times on the weekends. Excellent for business travelers and commuters. You can book any vehicle in their fleet to accommodate your group size and needs. By the way, you can just book them by going to groundshuttle.com. That website again, groundshuttle.com. When you go there, say hi to Camilo. Well, you can't say hi to him online, but you can tell him when you call at 855-303-4415. It's Ground Shuttle. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Talk a little basketball. Mitch Vanya and Jordan Green in studio. Mitch not only went to A&M, right? Mm-hmm. You coached here. You helped. You've coached at Tech. You coached at SFA. With the Rockets, you had more than a cup of coffee, right?
Yeah, more than a cup of coffee.
Jordan, remind me, didn't you start as a freshman? Like, I felt like you started
Maybe
every year. Yeah.
A little stint.
He played, 2011 to 15?
Correct.
Yeah, welcome to studio, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So I guess the first thing is you got some things brewing. What's brewing, Mitch? What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I've been in the coaching industry for a long time, including my time at A&M as a manager and grad assistant, about 18 years. And so moving back home to College Station with my family, I got 3 beautiful kids, my beautiful wife, and so getting out of the coaching business, so to speak, but going more the grassroots route. We're going to be out at a place called Hustle 3, the lab at Hustle 3 in South College Station off of Peach Creek Road, and going to be training kids and doing individual lessons, group trainings, camps, clinics, things like that, and just be able to build my own schedule and go more that route.
Yeah. How are you involved?
Well, we're going to partner up with my sports tech startup called Ballology.
Yep.
And Mitch, I mean, when I was playing, he would always take me to the side and put in extra work with me, and I loved it. Because he had spent time with the Rockets and came back to spend some time with us up in college, and I loved his workout. So if you are in the College Station area, man, he's going to get you right.
Yeah. So I read this preparing, and I didn't know this, so I apologize. What's up with this commercial that you did a few years ago, a Kevin Durant commercial?
Oh, yeah, that's it's a long but short story. My sister's in TV. She got a casting call for basketball players in Oklahoma. Pulled up, just made it. Yeah. And it was a cool little shoot right in Bricktown in OKC. So it was a cool little commercial.
You've done some modeling too, right?
Done a little bit of that with Nike. Yep. Yeah. Traveled around the globe, done some different
Travel around the globe for them?
Yeah, man. Was in Hong Kong with Nike.
How did I get that gig?
I know.
You got to be handsome, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I know people. It's all about you know.
Wow, that's great. So, all right, give me the vision for the future. What do you want it to feel like? What do you want it to look like?
Yeah, so I mean, starting off, just getting kids in there. Middle school and high school kids are kind of the goal, boys and girls. I've coached both on the boys and the girls side. Doing clinics and camps for little kids, like that's probably a month or two down the road once we get established. But yeah, starting off, and I just want to build it. Hopefully, I would love to get to some AAU stuff at some point, build some teams that way, and just continue to grow the brand out there. It's 31 Hoops is officially my brand. 31 Hoops BCS. You can give us a follow. But we're partnering with the lab at Hustle 3. Okay. And kind of a partner with me, or we've partnered together, and just want to grow it and see where it can go. And hopefully get some other coaches. I'm supposed to meet with one of the professors at A&M later this week, and hopefully get an internship program and get kids that are interested in coaching and kind of go that route. And then my hope is to maybe even teach a class at A&M in their coaching.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool little major that they've started up. I think last year or next year or this year, sometime within this last 3 years, they've been talking about it or have started it. But it's a coaching major at A&M, and I'm going to get all the details later this week. But yeah, that would be awesome to be able to get plugged in back to A&M again. So yeah.
Why was it important for you to partner up with them as well?
Oh, well, when I came into school, first when I came on my visits. Mitch was a manager for A&M. And that was back in the day, Donald Sloan days.
Long time ago. And he always took me to the side and kind of let me know what was going on in practice. I was a young, I committed as a sophomore, so I was always young coming up there. And Mitch showed me love always. So we had a great connection since I was coming up here on unofficial visits.
So how can kids get involved? Like when can they start getting involved? Like give me the timeline.
So we are going live on Wednesday, getting things rolling. This week is ready to roll. So 31 Hoops, if you Google that, or the lab at Hustle 3, you'll find 31 Hoops, some leak stuff there. My social media stuff, 31 Hoops at 31 Hoops BCS on Instagram. That's you can find all the details there. My wife, she's been doing a great job with social media stuff and helping me with all that. It's kind of over my head, but I'm trying to learn. But she's helping me with all that, and we can get signed up. We'll have membership packages, being able to do some stuff, 5 classes, 8 classes, whatever it may be, to get going. You can do one-offs. We'll have some free trial stuff if you're curious about it, what is this all about? Do I really trust this guy? Whatever. But we'll have some free trials to be able to come out and get some workouts in as well. We'll be doing some stuff, obviously, with Ballology with Jordan, which is a player development app. If you want to talk more about that, you can. But we also have shooting machines out there. We'll use the NOAA system, which tracks all their shooting and everything. So it's a technology-driven performance with me that I'll be using with that as well, with just my expertise and all the stuff that I've learned over the years and still learning.
I wish Lucci were here. I can show this post move he was showing me that I think is 100% travel, but the internet, one thing said he was right. But
I can't even imagine his footwork.
It was actually good, but that's travel. It's like, it's not travel. And then he showed me like a layup that somebody traveled, but I was like, never mind.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it some other time. Tell me about the app.
Yeah, so it's called Ballology.
Okay.
We're in basketball right now, and we're opening up into football in the fall. Like Mitch said, it's a player development system. So if you work with Mitch, then you can actually get on the app and work with them at home. Because we know in between time, kids are working out maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times a week. That's not going to get you over the top.
Yep.
What's going to get you over the top is when you're in your garage dribbling, doing some stuff on your own. So it's a mobile app that you can download for free. You can put it up in your driveway, YMCA. It tracks your shots, and it gives you a plan for your development. So you work with a coach, or you work with like your high school. We work with high schools too, smaller colleges. And you put together a player development plan for you, like throughout the whole season. So in season and off season, and then you can do drills on your own. You can watch film, and then it tracks all your shots at a hoop, all through a mobile device.
So tell me how you got to Ballology. So life after A&M, spent some time playing, right?
Yep.
So kind of take me through that.
Yeah. So after I got done playing at A&M, I actually took 2 years off to work with EY, a financial firm.
Wow.
So that was interesting, different change of pace for me for sure. Got married in that time period too, right out of school. And I was placed right by American Airlines Center in downtown Dallas. So the itch was itching to hoop again. So I did an open tryout amongst like 100 people or so with the Austin Spurs, ended up making the training camp. So I played in the G League for 3 years with them. Then I had a stint in France for a little bit. After I got done playing, it was around COVID.
Yeah.
And everyone's looking for something else to do. Basketball shutting down. And just so happened that in Austin is where Ballology was based. I got introduced to their CEO, and ever since then, been working with them as a startup. So getting to merge my tech love and also basketball love has been a dream to work with them.
By the way, speaking of the AAC, did you see the pics of Luka looking a little bit more
men's health?
Trimmed down a little bit.
Oh, and they photoshopped it a little bit, but he does look better, right? He does look better.
That's the European food, man. You know that.
Yeah.
He always, slims down, and you got to eat that fried food when he gets back.
That's right. Let's do this. You guys stick around for one more segment?
Yep.
Because I want to talk about your time with the Rockets, and then we'll close it out. All right, you're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. All right, we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Mitch, I want to ask you about your time with the Rockets. I think look, you've had a fun career, man. I mean, you won at several spots. How many years were you with the Rockets?
7 overall. 7,
okay. During the Daryl Morey years, and
Yep.
Were you there for the James trade or a little bit after?
So I was there for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So my very first year, I had 2 intern years before I came back to A&M for a season. And the first year was before James.
Okay.
And we barely missed making the playoffs. That next year we traded for him and got the 8th seed. And so I got that experience of him transitioning in. Left for a season to come back to A&M on Coach Kennedy's staff, where I met this guy.
Yeah.
And then went back to the Rockets for another 5 years. After that. So I've survived the coaching change from McHale to D'Antoni, and I was there for some really, really fun runs. Just couldn't beat Golden State, but I think when we lost in Game 7 that year, if CP hadn't gotten hurt, we would have won a championship. Like I truly, truly, truly believe that. That team was very special.
They had it. I felt like they had it.
If we make a couple threes in that stretch of Game 7, like we win that game. We held them to 101 points, and you're telling me we hold that team in a Game 7 in Houston to 101, you would take that 10 times out of 10.
So I'm going to ask you a question, maybe difficult for you to answer, right?
Okay.
Why has it not necessarily worked with James and other superstars? You could say it has worked, right? I think Dwight and James had a nice run. You could say that CP3 and him had a nice run, but it seems like time expires real quick. Russell didn't work. When he went to the Brooklyn, it didn't work.
Right. Yeah.
At Philadelphia, it didn't work. So, and maybe it'll work this year with the Clippers. Who knows? But why do you think that's the case?
Putting me on the spot. I everybody that's probably listening to this and guys that I've talked to over the years know that I defend James a ton. James is a fantastic player, one of the best scorers I've ever seen play the game. I think that he's a fantastic regular season player, and he can get you to the playoffs. And he has moments in the playoffs where he's really good, but he needs a good.
He needs a Game 7.
Yeah.
I'll say it. He needs a Game 7.
Yes, correct.
Let me ask you both this. Aggie hoops, all right? So you guys leave. You have the Buzz years, and now you have the Bucky years. Have you been able to keep up with Aggie hoops the last few years?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I mean, I know he's been head down, but I've been a fan for the last 5 years.
Yeah?
So I've been able to watch a little bit.
What do you think about that awesome run that Buzz was able to put together these last few years?
I mean, it was Aggie basketball, right? It was just grit. It was not a lot of showmanship, grabbing rebounds, running, playing hard. That's what it's like, putting on the maroon and white. So I appreciate it for how hard they played, how consistent. You would know they would put forth the effort. You know what I mean? They may not have made the shots, may not have made the right play calls, all that, but effort-wise, I was never in question with Aggie. So I appreciate it.
You guys excited about the Bucky ball?
I am, yeah. I'm excited to be a fan again.
Yeah.
To be here and seeing the beautiful stadium across the street, football, and just to be a fan and see all things Aggie, all the sports, I'm excited for it. Bucky ball, they're going to get some threes up and play fast. And I know with Coach Keller coming from SFA, I'm not sure who's in charge of the defense, but man, being on staff at SFA, those defensive guys, those guys bought in. So there will be some defense there too.
Yeah. What do you think about the movement in college basketball, in the NBA especially? There's not a lot of teams that like to play the defense that Buzz's teams like to play. It's all about shooting ridiculous shots, as many threes as you can, which, by the way, when you have a good shooting team, I'm all for. I think Bucky's going to put on a product that they can shoot those threes.
Right.
Sometimes you see teams that can't shoot those threes continue to shoot the threes. What do you think about, but there's analytics that say it works.
Yeah, I mean, being a Houston guy, I'm a big analytics guy. I love threes and playing fast and getting layups. I love that. But having been a part of good defensive teams, those Rocket teams, a lot of people don't realize they were good defensive teams too.
Mm-hmm.
The year we lost to Golden State in Game 7, we were, I believe, 6th best defense in the league that year. And so Coach Bizdelic, who was on that staff, we ran the defense, and I worked with him. He said defense is hard and winning is hard, and it takes a special type of player to want to buy into defense, and it's hard. It's really hard. Playing threes and shooting threes, playing fast, all that kind of stuff. That's fun. As a player, that's fun to do that. And so, guys, it's easy for guys to buy into that. Teams that can't shoot, analytically, they say to continue to shoot. but also try
if
to
you
get
can
to the
offensive
rim.
rebound.
Yeah, try to get to the that's another
There you
big
go.
piece
Yeah.
of it. Try to get to the rim, try to get layups, get fouled, get to the free throw line. That's all a part of it too. So, yeah.
Aesthetically, what was your favorite basketball to watch? What era?
Of just history of the game?
Yeah, you've been watching. Yeah.
Oh, early 2000s. That was just nostalgic for me. AI, Vince Carter, T-Mac, Kobe.
Yeah.
You
Great
know, it's
basketball,
the best. It was inside, it was out. You had posts, you had wings. They were showmanship. Look at the early 2000s All-Star games. They competed. It was really fun basketball.
Yeah.
What about for you?
2000s. I would say I would agree with that. You know, I grew up watching the Rockets win their first championships. That's when I first fell in love with basketball. I'm old enough to say that.
Yeah.
But you know,
I was in high school. Thanks, bro.
Yeah. I think the 2000s. You know, that was you know, I was in high school and college, and like, you know, I love that era of basketball. Physically, you had LeBron coming up, but I will debate people on that too. Like Kobe, Jordan, those are my guys. You just killer mentalities and toughness, and you started to see the transition with more threes. D'Antoni in Phoenix was ahead of the game. Golden State.
What a great guy, by the way.
Fantastic. Love D'Antoni. Golden State implemented his offense. That's why they were so good for so many years. So that's why you've seen that drive. You've seen it be successful. You've seen teams win with it, shooting more threes and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, hopefully it transitions here too.
By the way, Daryl Morey, one of my favorite people too. He was good to me.
Yeah. Daryl was good.
Yeah.
Good people.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it. By the way, my favorite was the late 90s. So
okay.
Mid 90s, late
not
90s.
Wrong, yeah, it's not a wrong answer.
And I also love the 2010s or the early 20s, like when the Mavs made that run, and even the few years leading up to it. I thought
it's the greatest run in playoff history right there.
Yeah. Second to the Rockets 95 when they were the 6th seed.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Thanks, guys. All right, we'll hit a break. We will come back on TexAgs Live. We'll have Coach G at 10:20, and then a UTSA preview next on TexAgs. Nerd alert. Did you hear the conversation we were just having here in studio, Nick?
Was it about 90s era NBA basketball or something?
No, I know you
couldn't
tuned
hear
out
it,
on
no.
that one. You were out. You're like, no, I'm not doing old school basketball. No, it wasn't about that. Jordan's a big Batman fan, so we just spent 3.5
Another
minutes.
thing I'm just completely checked out on.
You're out on Batman?
No, I enjoy the Batman movies, the ones with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
They're good. But, I watched them once and, that's good.
Well,
Never
I
watched
promise you guys, we're not going to do a segment on DC and Marvel, okay? Although I did see the Fantastic Four. Pretty good. Pretty good. You going to go see it, Nick?
No. I've told you this before. The last Marvel movie I think I'll ever watch is I went and saw the last Avenger, Infinity War, sorry.
Endgame,
yeah. Saw that. Probably not going to go see another superhero movie ever again.
Why?
Just because they're not going to be as good as those two movies.
Okay.
Endgame and Infinity War.
Okay, but what about this new, the whole Robert Downey, Dr. Doom thing?
Yeah,
about
why
that?
bring him back? That's stupid.
Well,
he's Iron Man.
Yeah, but you don't know the storyline. That's my point, bro.
No.
What if he's...
out.
Okay.
He's like Harry Potter. Like when you see him, you're going to be like, no, he's not Doom. That's Iron Man.
You haven't watched the conspiracy videos on YouTube. I should bring you along for a great journey.
I might enjoy that, actually.
Around the SEC, around Marvel, no, I'm kidding. Around the SEC, presented by the Jaxer Group. All right. What are we doing here, Nick Savage?
Yeah, so article from ESPN, they ranked the top 10 SEC football games for the 2025 season. So I guess the most interesting, the best, the most, intriguing games. And we'll run through the list, and I guess you give me just a quick thought or two on each game. So number one on the list, going to be Texas at Ohio State. So a non-conference game is what they're leading off with.
Yeah, I think it is. You might have two of the top three teams in the country. I mean, they probably will be, right? Like, I'm assuming that's going to be close. Or maybe one's at 4, maybe one's at 5. But you're going to have two top 5 teams in the country playing. They played in the semifinal, and how close Texas was to tying or winning that game. They both have very intriguing quarterback stories, new quarterbacks. Arch gets all the hype. But Julian Sayin is a guy that we're going to know a lot about, one of the top recruits in the country. So, yeah, I get it. You've got superstars, Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith. I mean, there's going to be some names, Anthony Hill. So yeah, I totally think that is right now the most intriguing of those matchups.
Next up, LSU at Clemson. That's on August 30th. So another non-conference game to lead things off.
Who gets to call it Death Valley? That's what it comes down to.
That's their first line, the battle for the real Death Valley.
So what I'll say about that is it 5 straight years that LSU's lost their opener? And I know Brian Kelly, if it's 5 years, Brian Kelly hasn't won once, right?
Yeah.
I think this year it stops. I do. I think this year it stops. I'm higher on LSU than I was a few months ago. I think it's an intriguing game because is that a Sunday night game? Do you remember?
I believe so. Yeah, that game's on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be a great view.
No, sorry, that's a Saturday night game.
Oh, it is Saturday night? Okay. Last year, I think LSU started on Sunday night then. No, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. And I think LSU's finally going to end that opener winless streak.
Georgia at Tennessee is the next one up, and I'll kind of read what they have to say about it. Both Georgia and Tennessee will have new starting QBs making their first SEC starts, Gunnar Stockton and Joey Aguilar, if he's going to win the starting job for the Vols.
I remember reading about this. I believe that Georgia has beat Tennessee 8 straight times. So.
Average margin of victory in those 8, by the way, 25 points.
Yeah, I don't think that's one of the most, I'm not intrigued by Tennessee yet. I like the Tennessee story because they like to play defense. I think Heupel has kind of changed more offensively because of the personnel he has. I think that's a talking point for them. But Georgia plays, sure, I'm intrigued. But I wouldn't say that wouldn't be on my top 10.
Next one up is pretty obvious for, as soon as I say it, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, Alabama, Georgia. Yeah, Alabama going to Georgia this year, and arguably one of the best games or the best games in college football last year.
If I remember correctly, Alabama get off to a huge lead in that game, and then Georgia came roaring
Yeah, it
back.
looked like a blowout, and Georgia was coming back into the game in like the fourth.
And then Ryan Williams had one of the most incredible touchdowns, right? That's that game.
Correct.
I have Alabama winning the SEC early. I don't know why. I really don't know why. It was one of those gut things. So maybe I need to do a gut reset. But yeah, that's. I think that's absolutely a very intriguing matchup.
Next one up, LSU at Ole Miss. They say outside of the non-conference opener at Clemson, this will be Nussmeier's first real road test, and his performance in Oxford could go a long way in determining whether LSU senior is a legit 2025 Heisman contender.
Let's go Ole Miss. If I remember correctly, Ole Miss lost in overtime last year, right? So Ole Miss lost to them. They lost. Was it Arkansas that they lost to? Who else did they lose to? No, they lost to Kentucky, right?
Kentucky, yeah.
Kentucky. So, I'm a little intrigued by that game. I'm cool with that.
Surprised we haven't had any A&M games yet? Is there any missing?
Punks over there.
Well, we'll keep going. Texas at Florida is their next one up. They say Texas dominated last year's matchup.
Yeah, no DJ
49-17.
Lagway.
Yeah, that's what they said.
Is that a night game? Do we know? Do we know if that's a night game?
I could go look.
I would love for it to be a night game. The Swamp, that place is crazy. As long as you don't catch the flu when you're covering a game there, it's great. Those who don't know, last year I had like 103 fever. I'm making that number up. I didn't take my temperature, but I felt terrible, and I was in the press box, probably giving Olin COVID and the flu at the same time.
So it's going to be a flex game. So it's either at 3:30 or 6. So it could be a night game.
Well, I mean, it'll be 3:30. Of course. Sure, just make it 3:30. Make it a night game.
Well, let's not act like the 3:30 games, 2:30 games still don't.
Nothing's easy on the road to the SEC. Yeah. But let's get a night game on the Texas got the night game on the road at Kyle Field. Is that the only night road game they had last year? I mean, in regular season, right? That's
I believe so.
Ohio State was obviously a
Katie's going to look that up for us.
I think that was their only one.
We'll keep going. Ole Miss at Georgia.
What is this, the Ole Miss show?
They say if Georgia is going to once again return to Atlanta in 2025, a home victory against Lane Kiffin could go a long way in making the Bulldogs conference case.
Okay. I didn't know that Ole Miss, everybody was so high on them. Okay. You gave them one.
We can confirm that the Texas A&M game was the Longhorns' only true road night game.
Yeah, I do this show a lot, believe it or not. I know what I'm talking about until I don't, and then I got a text and I got to fix it. What else?
Next one up on October 25th, Alabama at South Carolina. And they say with its...
Well, that one, that is a big one. That is a really big one.
Who you think could possibly make it to Atlanta.
Yeah, but now everybody keeps telling me reasons I'm wrong, and I'm like second guessing. Will it be a trap game, Nick? No, I'm not convinced that South Carolina...
You're the one that would argue that it's a trap game because you're not that high on South Carolina. But, I mean, I think they're going to be a contender for sure just because of Lenore Sellers. But I know you're not that high on Lenore Sellers.
No. Okay. I want to make sure because I know
you're not
the
saying
9 South Carolina fans that listen to this show or that go to the games. I'm kidding. That atmosphere is great. Really a lot of props. It's one of my favorite places to go to, except when the game happens. The game sucks the last 2 times I've been there. I'm high on Lenore Sellers. I just don't think he's going to make everybody around him he's 1A or 1B in the league. No doubt. He's proven it, right? He's got more experience than a lot of folks. He is that. I just don't know if he elevates everybody's game the way people expect him to. How do you elevate that when you lose offensive pieces and you lose defensive pieces? I don't think the defense is going to be able to give him that many opportunities like they did last year. That's it. It's the next one. Give me A&M. Come on. Give it to me.
LSU at Alabama. That's November 8th. Although divisions have gone the way of the dinosaurs, they say this remains one of the league's most significant SEC showdowns and could be a proving ground opportunity for Nussmeier's Heisman case. Man, they're really infatuated with Garrett Nussmeier winning the Heisman. But
that's at least 2 for LSU, right?
Yeah, there's only one more game left, by the way.
Oh, great. Thanks. No Aggies. Let me guess. So 2 for LSU. There's been at least 2 for Bama, maybe 3. 2 for Bama?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, nobody knows. And nobody remembers anything. We just talk and it just leaves. And we have...
3 for Bama. 3 for Bama.
Oh, okay. 3 for Bama. I'm glad you were able to look over your notes. And then what? We've had 3 for Georgia?
2 for Georgia.
Okay.
We've had 2 for Texas so far, but both of those numbers are about to go up because the last game on the schedule, November 15th, or last game on this list, sorry, is Texas at Georgia.
Sure. Whatever. Yeah, I'm intrigued. Georgia beat them twice last year. Georgia went on the road at night to DKR. By the way, I think Texas had I know that Georgia was killing them, but Texas had a real opportunity in that game to like completely seize momentum when they threw all the trash in the world, which now opened up the floodgates. Just throw trash, you get what you want.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Of course I'm intrigued by that. I am. And to be 100% fair, which one of these games would I alternate with an A&M game?
Are you asking me
Well, we can both go back and forth
sure.
on that.
I would say LSU Ole Miss.
Yeah,
probably could take that one out, and I would maybe drop in
Georgia, Tennessee?
Yeah, that one too.
Sorry.
Drop in A&M Notre Dame.
A&M Notre
Easy
Dame
pick.
or A&M Texas or A&M LSU. A&M LSU, I can make look, that has been back and forth.
Yep.
The last few years, right? So that's a compelling case. A&M Texas for obvious storylines. And A&M Notre Dame, well, Marcel didn't get a chance against them. He's going to be the seasoned quarterback in that game.
Yep.
So, all right. I got a question for you, Nick.
Oh, boy.
And I want the people, the humans that listen to this show.
Okay.
To help
Coach G is
answer.
here, by the way. He just walked in.
Who did?
Coach G.
Okay, well,
everyone's favorite.
We'll do a break here in a moment. 3 realistic wishes for A&M to have a fun season. Okay?
Ooh.
I didn't say a championship season.
Yeah.
Although I would love it. Okay? When I say fun, that can mean championships. Doesn't mean it doesn't. Okay? 3 realistic wishes. All right? I want for Marcel to throw 94 touchdowns and no interceptions. That's great, but I want it realistic. Okay? Because I got mine that I feel like are very realistic, more in the Nolan verse, as opposed to the James Gunn verse, if you know what I'm talking about.
Superman, right?
Well, yeah, James Gunn is the Superman, like in the air flying. Nolan verse is more like grounded in reality.
Gotcha. Can I start? I got one off the top of my head.
Yep.
Realistic wish for it to be a fun season. If Marcel Reed runs for 1,000 yards, because that kind of takes me back to the Johnny football days, right? And, probably not so much from, scrambling and creating plays, but maybe more design runs for him. If that goes down, he's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, I want that stat.
Do you think that's not realistic?
I'm not saying that it's not realistic. What I'm saying is, do I really want my quarterback running that much? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yes.
Like there's a part of me like...
The one wish that we both would start with is everyone stay healthy.
Well, okay, that's my point. So my first one is key health or health for key players, right? So I want Marcel to run because it makes him a dangerous weapon and he's great at it. Do I want him running that much that he's vulnerable? I don't know, but I like your wish. So 1 for 1. Mine is health. You said your second one was health. What's your third one?
Let's see. For a fun season, I don't want to say double the sack numbers because that's kind of crazy, but let's
double them. Why not?
Yeah, sure. Okay, then double sack numbers.
What did Coach Elko say at PKO? Like how many almost sacks that they had? Like there was a number he gave. It was like it was ridiculous. Hands on the quarterback that we missed opportunities on.
Yeah.
So okay. So those are your 3: health,
Marcel 1,000-yard rusher.
Okay.
Double the sack numbers.
Double the sack. All right. Mine. I started with health for key players. If I need to come up with another one, fine, I will. I want, and I know this is going to be the case, but I want to fix the flaws mentality. So we have this list of things, like the flaws are actually fixed, right? That's the wish. Hey, you can't tackle. Boom, fixed, right? Realistic fixing. I'm not talking about like every person you touch with your finger, they go down, right? That'd be great, but realistic, fix the flaws, which means be able to go and throw the ball deep to coverage, right? Some of the coverage issues that we talked about. So fix the flaws is definitely my wish. Can we fix those defensive miscues, which meant, creating more turnovers as you're watching on the video, and also not getting burned and stopping the big plays.
Yeah,
A&M was really good, right? They would be really good, and then they'd give up a huge play.
Yep.
So fix the flaws mentality and a vertical threat. That'd be my third one. Like, can we test defenses deep that makes them not line up? Like, if you are one-dimensional, as good as Le'Veon is, like against Notre Dame, A&M was one-dimensional. I don't have the stats in front of me, but what did Connor throw for? Like 91 yards, something like that?
Yeah, it wasn't even 100 yards.
So, of course, and I think that was one of Le'Veon's, not the most stat eye-popping game, right? And that's how could it be?
I could be wrong, but I think Amari Daniels was the leading rusher in that game for A&M.
So between those guys, maybe 72 yards, 68 yards, right? So you got to be able to test teams deep, right? So that's mine. Let me, are you looking that up, Nick?
Yeah, trying to get to it real quick. Okay, no, I was wrong. Le'Veon ran for 70 yards and a touchdown, but Connor Wigman threw for, we were 0 for 2 there. Connor Wigman threw for exactly 100 yards.
Okay, well, I was pretty close. I said 91, sorry. And I said Le'Veon rushed for 72, and you said 70?
70, yeah.
I think I'm in the ballpark.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
I'm
like Rain Man at
I was
times.
talking about me, not you.
Yeah, I know. But let's just make sure that the audience knows that it was about you and not me. You got to make sure you say that, because if not, I'll get hate mail. I'm going to read this text from Shane in South Carolina. Josh Pate's take on Marcel is spot on. If Johnny would have had flashes greatness on occasion, those teams are above average at best. If Marcel can learn how to use his tools consistently, we could be an extraordinary team. I am not worried about Marcel. I'm not. I think he's going to be really good. And I really hope so. And all right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back. Coach G, practice started this morning, first day of Aggie soccer, so we'll talk to him about that. A moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. When you're looking for a vehicle, that's the place to go. In this fast-paced world, we've all gotten used to using our phones and getting information, right? Go to caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. You'll see, and you can browse their constantly updated inventory, what amazing deals that they have as well, which they change from time to time. And you can find your perfect match, calculate your trade-in value, and even start the financing process all from the comfort of your home, hopefully not driving, because you may need a new car in that case, and you're going there anyway, right? Caldwell Country Chevrolet is where you can help them because they support businesses that give back. If you're ready to experience the difference, make the short drive to Caldwell, and you'll experience the car buying difference that you've been craving for such a long time. 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Coach G in studio. First day of Aggie women's soccer. It's got started this morning. How did it go?
Great. Yeah. Nice. It wasn't terribly hot, and it was. We started out with our fitness test, which is different. Every year is different. We do different things, and we thought that this year was important. We didn't think that we were quite as fit as we needed to be going into the last 2 seasons. So big emphasis, some changes in what we were doing, and payoff was good. But 6 times as many players, killed it, and so from there, then we went through some technical testing just to kind of get our baseline of where we're going to go. But the cool thing is, it's a happy team.
Yeah.
It's a great side.
So how do you decide, or how do they get ready for fitting? Like, do you send them a prescribed idea? I want you to be able to do this by this date. Do you because you don't want them to get in shape through camp. You want them to come as close to shape as possible.
Yeah, I think old school, 70s, 80s, people would show up, to get in shape during preseason. Well, with soccer, it's a 16-day preseason. You're not going to get in shape in 16 days, and it's much easier to keep your fitness than it is to go from zero to fully fit. So we kind of set we set those standards of what we wanted back in the spring. And the thing about this particular team is, we've got 10 players out of the transfer portal, a 27-player roster, 10 players out of the portal, 5 new freshmen. So 15 of the 27 players are their first time in College Station, at least their first season. Most of them were all here in January. So all 5 of our freshmen graduated high school early to come in. Did great in their first semester, and then we had 7 out of the portal in January. So we started putting this team, plus Tim Strader, new coach for us, came in, and so it was a chance for us to start from ground zero as far as what we want to do defensively, how we want to play, how we want to see how they fit into different things, so we can adjust how we want to play, and then as we went through the spring season, get a chance to play against good teams out of the conference. We only gave up 1 goal, I think, in our last 5 games, and really ended on a real high. So where we ended is kind of where we want to be able to at least start from there. So the fitness standards that we had at the end, we pumped that up just a little bit. So this is where we want you to be. Gerald Pena, girls refer to him as G-Money, is our strength and conditioning coach, and he's got a great rapport with the players. And so the communication between him, myself, and the rest of our coaches was, we need a better aerobic base if we're going to really do what we want to do. We want to be able to win games late. We want to be able to win games throughout the season. So, so there was more of an emphasis this year on the field, just sweat, and what's that sweat equity going to do for you? A little bit compared to some of the things that had been done in the last couple of years. So we take that as we can check that box as that was something we wanted to improve on, and we improved on it quite a bit. Now, are we where we want to be? Now it's the first day report card day for the first day. Yeah. And now we've got a week. We'll have a solid week of training. We'll have an exhibition game against Rice a week from today, and then we'll take a day off, and then we'll kind of pump it back up for our second and last exhibition game, which will be a week from Saturday. So it's fast and furious. This is actually the last year that this type of schedule goes on in women's soccer. We've been working for more than 10 years to try to adjust our NCAA legislation to give us a longer runway into preseason. Stuff that we learned from during the COVID year, where it was a longer runway because they didn't know what we wanted to do with the first part. So, and I was the one who wrote the legislation, got it through with a lot of help from the SEC and our friends around the country. But now we're going to go in 2026 from this year's 16-day preseason to a 28-day preseason, and that'll be. And the whole idea is just we want to reduce the chance of injuries to our players. We want to have a little bit more of a ramp up. Again, they need to show up fit. Yeah. But then can we take them to what it's going to take to play in a really intense college season?
You don't strike me as somebody that needs to get re-energized. I feel like you're living the brand at all times. But do you feel maybe a little new energy because it is so new with these players?
Well, yeah, and one of the things about the transfer portal, I said this at the TexAgs event, is we've got players. A lot of the players on this team have come from being the best player, not just on their past team, but in their league. Mm-hmm. And so the opportunity to come and level up at Texas A&M to play in front of the best crowds, the biggest crowds, and to have the resources that we have. I mean, it's a real opportunity for them. So we've got a lot of smiles on faces, a lot of really intense, focused looks on what they want. It's a really happy team.
Yep.
It's filled with just great people. Again, I mean, our grades dipped a lot in the spring, and we went down to only having a 3.5 grade point average.
Oh my gosh,
for the team.
man! What's
I know.
wrong with you?
They're clearly spending too much time on one class. So we'll kind of take these little steps one at a time and get ourselves ready this week. So we're doing two. We go 7:30 in the morning, 6:30 in the evening throughout this week, and they're all not rock'em sock'em
sure
intense sessions, but we want to get as many chances as we can to teach and for them to be on the field together to represent.
Can you tell us some of the new names that fans are going to get to know here this year?
Sure. So start in the back. We've got you've got some players who are back who you will know, like Ella Goodwin is back, is one of our returnees, but you've got a lot of newness in there. We return our the two goalkeepers who started for us last year in Mason Veranda and Sydney Fuller. Sydney Fuller, who had a run with the national team camp this summer. But our back line is very different. It's very new. Bella Yakel, who comes in from Portland. Actually, her little sister just made her pro debut at 14. So pretty good stock in that family as far as what they do. Bella is kind of the center of our defense. Riley Crooks, one of the outstanding student athletes of all sports in Southern California. Other player there at center back. We brought in the best player, the best defender from the portal in Mia Scranton, who's going to come in. She played one conference championship and basically almost beat UCLA in the NCAAs. And then Hattie Patterson, who's a transfer, has been a starter of her career over at Ole Miss. She's from here in Texas, so she comes back. So there's 4 new names amongst others that will be competing for those spots. Trinity Buchanan, who was the high school player of the year out of Nevada and transferred in from UNLV. Again, someone looking to step up. Big time player for us in the middle of the field. You'll see, Kat Campbell, who is back from last year. And then we've brought in a lot of firepower because in the end last year, we had a resume last year good enough to be one of the seeded teams in the NCAA tournament. Just our goals dried up at the end of the season. We needed one more goal. We had 9 games we didn't win. 8 of those we outpossessed, outshot, out-XG'd every one of those opponents, but we didn't win. So, or one more goal in any of those 8 games, we're in and we're hosting and we're here for a while. So we wanted to kind of rejigger the attitude and the abilities up front. So, for example, Kaylee Noble, who's one of our newest players, she was the newcomer of the year in the Big West Conference. She's a big, strong, fast striker. You've got Savannah Hutchins who transferred in from NC State. We've got players transferred in from Kansas. You got players who have come in out of Leah Diaz, who is the leading scorer at Tulsa. So a lot of people who have been here for a while now have really gotten their feet on the ground. They know the way around town. They're not getting lost anymore. And the cool thing is that the level of gratitude, the level of just thankful of what they're getting instead of just expecting things to happen because we're at Texas A&M. I mean, these are players that are ready to get out there and grind, and those were characteristics that we were really looking for.
When's the first game?
Exhibition game, week from today.
Okay.
First regular season game is against Baylor, which you have a lot of hisses and stuff going on, is on Thursday the 14th. And then we have a run of about 6 out of our first 7 games are at home. And there's a run where it's a game every 3 days. So 14th is Baylor, 17th is Lamar with Nathan Kogut comes back, one of our former assistants. Then we have Texas State, who is expected to win the Sun Belt Conference.
Yeah.
Then we've got UConn, who comes in big national name, and then we have other games going on. So right off the get go in August, before really a lot of the rest of the athletic calendar is going here at A&M, we'll be running out at Ellis Field.
All right, man. We'll get you on the show here soon again. Okay.
Appreciate it. And again, hopefully these first two games, a week from today and the Saturday following, which is the 5th and the 9th, those are free. Those are free games for people. Come out to Ellis Field, get a feel for what this group is like. I think you'll be hooked.
Something tells me you'll see a bunch of Nuños there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Thank you, Coach G.
All right,
Appreciate
buddy.
you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back. A little UTSA preview on the other side as TexAgs Live. And we're back, TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's learn a little bit about UTSA. They've been in the news recently, and maybe we'll chit-chat a little bit about that. But let's find out the kind of caliber of football team. I know they finished the season real strong. Jared Kalmus is a UTSA insider. He joins us here on the program to break it all down on the Buppy's Bartending and Catering Hotline. What's up, Jared? How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
How did you get started with Alamo Audible?
Oh, man. So for myself personally, I've been covering UTSA since the very first practice, right? When they were using borrowed practice jerseys from UTEP. So it's crazy to see how far the program has come since then. So I was doing another podcast with a buddy for a few years when the program started, and then we started Alamo Audible in 2015. So we've been covering the program for a decade now, which is pretty awesome. And we actually just brought in some extra contributors from UTSA's rival site. So we've been growing a lot and kind of grown with the program along the way.
Am I right? It was Larry Coker who was the first coach?
That's right. Yeah. That first podcast was the Coker Chronicles.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about UTSA. Like, are they going to be better this year? I look at them as a team that, like, every year, like, I don't want to face them because if you lose to them, it looks really bad. But they can beat anybody. That's what it's kind of been the case there before.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So this team, it's going to be a tale of different stories on both sides of the ball, right? The offense, they're bringing back everybody. The defense, they're bringing back nobody. So it's really interesting. The defense wasn't great last year. So it kind of begs the question of, like, is the continuity always a good thing, right? Because the start is welcome. But, 2024 is a slow start for UTSA. Lost to the better rival Texas State for the first time. They were 5-0 in that series heading into that game. So that was a big blow to the confidence. And just really had some uncharacteristic struggles that we haven't seen under Jeff Traylor. They've been a very well coached, very disciplined team. And I would say, like, those first 6-7 games of the season, they look completely different, right? A lot of dumb penalties, not good chemistry and connection on the offensive side of the ball. But then we kind of saw over the span of the season, a lot of that stuff got cleaned up, right? So they did a good job of turning things around, dominated the bowl game against Coastal Carolina. So, with that offense coming back, especially with quarterback Olin Buchanan, who I'm sure we'll get into, kind of leading the charge, it's just like, how decent can that defense be? I mean, if they can be average, then UTSA should have a chance to compete for an American championship. But with just 0 returning starters, it's hard to have any real confidence of what that's going to look like.
You surprised that Jeff Traylor's still there? Because, I mean, he was that hot name a couple years ago. Last year didn't go as planned, but a nice finish. Are you surprised he's at UTSA, and is he going to be there for a while?
Yeah, a little surprised, I would say. I think just like the market has changed. I think the days where, you were a group of 5 coach and you have a 10-win, 11-win season and then you're off to your next stop at a Power 4, I think like that's changed a lot. I mean, it's different ball games from, this level to the level of A&M, right? And like the amount of like fundraising experience you need to have and just ability to navigate all the complexities of the political situations and fundraising, all of that. It's different, right? So I think just generally speaking, you're seeing a lot less of those coaches at a group of 6 school make that jump up. I mean, look at how much Billy Napier has struggled going from Louisiana to Florida, right? It's a big adjustment. So I think you're just seeing a lot of like, really highly paid coordinators getting a lot of those opportunities that were going to those G6 coaches before. So, a little bit surprised. I think some of it is just, kind of the macro situation of the economics and all of that. But, at this point, Jeff is older than people realize, right? Because he had such a long high school coaching career. He hasn't been on the college scene for that long. So people see him as a young coach. He looks good for his age, so I'm kind of wondering maybe he will just, settle down and retire in San Antonio and, go out a legend at UTSA. I mean, that could be something that's enticing to him.
You alluded to him earlier, but Olin Buchanan, what makes him such a stabilizing part of that offense? What makes him such a unique quarterback?
Yeah, I think he's just really good under pressure. Obviously having the NFL pedigree of having his dad and I think 2 uncles that all played in the league, he does pretty well when the bullets are flying. He had some of those early games that he was a little bit shaky. The Texas State one comes to mind. They were throwing a lot of blitzes, a lot of pressure, a lot of disguised coverage, and he struggled with that a little bit. But over the course of the year, he just became really steady, really solid. I think UTSA's offense is kind of systematic. I mean, they scheme guys open. They tend to have good receivers that can get separation. So, if you're able to operate in that system and just play within the bounds of like what the play calls for, any quarterback should be pretty successul. He's got a good ability to extend the play. He's pretty athletic. He had, I think, a 76-yard touchdown run against Temple this year. So just a good overall player. And I think, he's put some good muscle on throughout this offseason. He's still a young guy, so expecting big things from him. And he's not like a rocket cannon arm. He's probably not going to launch it 60 yards down the field, but he just is a good fit for this offense overall.
Jared, I know you've been asked about it. It's probably a non-story. People are saying it's a non-story, but I got asked about the leaked emails and Owen's part in it. And just give me the origin story and what's the fallout been.
Yeah, it's like you're only getting one side of the story, really. It was pretty interesting that Purdue was actually the first school to issue a statement on it, other than before Memphis and UTSA did. So the win over Memphis was UTSA's biggest win last year. It was actually the first time they'd beaten a ranked opponent. They were Memphis, I think, was 21st in the AP or something like that. Pretty big achievement for Jeff Traylor, especially with those early season struggles that I alluded to too. Big marquee win. So we started hearing some rumblings, I would say probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, that there could have been some kind of leak in the playbook situation, but it was very vague. There was not a lot of evidence provided. In fact, I think the writer from Memphis that first broke this story pulled up some clips from the game of how did he know this guy was going to blitz and stuff like that. I was like, I don't know. It's a pre-snap read, right? But then eventually, I think last week, they released, so they somehow got their hands on a screenshot of the messages from a former Memphis defensive back who was kicked off the team that actually played in high school with Olin Buchanan. So it's hard to tell from the screenshot, but it looks like some kind of information was provided, whether that's a play sheet, the actual playbook, audibles, who knows, can't really tell. But it seemed to indicate that some information was shared with Owen. He kind of had a funny emoji reaction to it. And I don't know, it's really hard to get any truth out of it. Both sides have kind of downplayed it. There's definitely some sour grapes on both sides on how it was handled. But who knows? We'll probably never know the truth. I think this stuff probably happens a lot more in sports than, most people realize. But, it seems to be in the past. I think the story is kind of fading out a little bit. Even the conference commissioner said that he thought it was, sensationalized. So we'll see. It's just a shame UTSA and Memphis aren't scheduled to play each other this year.
Am I right that UTSA returns 8 of their 9 receivers or something to that effect? And just talk to me about that group. And I'm sure you've done your research. A&M did struggle with big plays last year. Doesn't mean that'll be the case this year. Mm-hmm. Is that a vulnerable spot for A&M, you feel, with UTSA's receivers?
I think it could be. There's some real talent in that room for UTSA. Part of the reason why the offense struggled out of the gate last season is their top 2 targets were struggling with injury. So David Amador is a guy who had a really illustrious career at North Shore. I think he won a state title, and then he actually played quarterback his senior year and was a runner-up there. Staff expected big things out of him, and then when he was healthy, he produced. I mean, he was a total spark to that offense. And then Devin McEwen is a guy that I think UTSA beat out 16 or 18 schools to get him to UTSA, and he had hamstring issues all along. So if those 2 guys are healthy, that offense is going to look pretty good. You're right, they bring back pretty much that entire room. A lot of guys coming off injury across the board. And they brought in 2 transfers that the staff is really excited about. One of them is a transfer from Houston Christian that actually tore UTSA up in that FCS matchup in the Alamo Dome. And, a lot of people were joking in the stands, UTSA's got to go throw an NIL bag at this guy and get him from Houston Christian. And they actually did exactly that, which is kind of funny to, being a smaller school and being on the opposite end of the typical NIL game was kind of humorous. But that is AJ Wilson, and he had a really nice career at HCU, so I think he'll break the rotation. Really talented player. And then they got Jalen Smith from Michigan State. So he didn't see the field at Michigan State, but he had a nice high school career, really athletic, kind of track star kind of guy. So we'll see if he can be an X factor. The only thing is they did lose DeCorian JT Clark, who's kind of a program legend. He was on track to be, I would say, a second-day draft pick. And then just really bad injuries kind of derailed his career. So he decided to take a medical red shirt, just medically retire, and just focus on getting his body right and trying to get into the NFL after the season. So losing that veteran leadership will hurt, but it's just a lot of talent. And with an experienced quarterback and, the whole offensive line returning, you think they'll find a way to get the ball downfield a little bit.
Jared, let's close out with defense. You didn't seem to be very high on what they did last year. They lost, their top 5 tacklers from last year's team. That might be a good thing. Should the defense be better?
Right now, I'm going to say no, right? It's just impossible for me to look at the uncertainty that's here and forecast improvement. Now, they brought in a lot of talent, a lot of bodies that have kind of power for size and speed and all of that, but there's just no chemistry between these guys. They haven't played together. UTSA has kind of out-talented a lot of their conference opponents on the defensive side of the ball the past couple of years. So I think when they get to conference play, they'll be okay. But, early season against a program like A&M, I think it's going to be really tough. There are some highlights here. They got Shad Banks, a transfer from TCU. There's a lot of pressure on him to be a day one, not only starter, but to kind of be a leader on that defense, right? He was on that national runner-up team for TCU, and he's had a really good career. So, a lot of eyeballs on him. But especially in that defensive back room, I just have no clue what that group is going to look like. There are some safeties coming back that did okay last year, but I don't think at safety or cornerback there's a single guy that I could point to and say, yep, this guy is going to be a really steady starter. He's got a high ceiling. It's a lot of question marks. They already lost an Oklahoma State transfer at cornerback that I thought was going to be a good addition. So that's the biggest question mark for me. And, they're probably fortunate to have a new starter at quarterback for A&M in that first game. And hopefully he has some shakiness in his first start at A&M with Marcel Reed. But yeah, it's very dicey. We'll see. I think the run game will be okay, but that secondary is a huge concern.
Jared, I appreciate your time, man. Let's get you or someone from your team on the week of the game, all right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jared. Appreciate you. All right, we'll hit a break here. When we come back, we'll just kind of wrap up the show and get some final thoughts. You can text in at 979-693-1150. When insurance matters most, who's going to answer your call? That's the Rollo Insurance Group. They're my insurance provider. They should be yours. If you're in the great state of Texas, they got 60 offices, but they're all over the country, and the difference is real with them. When you call them, you're going to call their cell phone. You're going to be able to text them. They're going to know your unique situation because that's what Rollo does. They're local. They are like small town guys, right? Jason Jackson, the whole crew there at Rollo Insurance will take amazing care of you like they've done for me and several other folks here in the Brazos Valley and beyond. Remember, the difference is real. When you need advice or have a claim, you'll speak to somebody directly, right? They're going to know your personal situation. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. All right, we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. So, after hearing the UTSA insider, what do you guys think? Like, Jared had some good insight. Look, if A&M just did, I think UTSA is an interesting program in the fact that I think they have some athletes. I mean, he talked about Shad Banks, who, well, there's all a little history there with A&M. They got some players, right? But it should not matter. That's A&M should be and will be a program that it doesn't matter what your storyline is. It is what about we do. Is that a Morgan Wallen song? Anyway, that's what it's got to be about, right? And I don't care if it's, a brand new cornerback alongside with Will Lee or whatever, right? I do what you do. Get to the quarterback, which they didn't have a hard time getting to the quarterback last year. They had a hard time finishing getting to the quarterback. All right, let me talk a little Aggie Land Hydration before I say goodbye. Aggie Land Hydration, they're awesome partners. Danny and Sheldon, love them. They are Aggie owned and operated. They're a mobile IV hydration company that was founded in 24, and they take care of the Bryan College Station area with great services like IV hydration, Botox, weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. Busy weekend, an IV can be the easiest way to ensure that you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized, accessible wellness option to the broader clientele in the Brazos Valley. Call them up, 979-217-1561 is Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. All right, tomorrow on the show, should have Johnny Harris. We should have Ryan Broninger. He's always in his office, unless he's on vacation. And we'll have something else. That's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching and listening. We'll see you mañana.